twinkle, twinkle, little star, and hug her and kiss her and tell her how much I loved her. And I'd tell her, I'm so sorry, honey. Mommy's so sorry. I've been shot before with a .45 caliber.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't go after.
Who shot you?
This guy that wanted me to be his girlfriend, and I refused.
Welcome to Crime Circus. My name's Baby Drip, and I proudly present you this exclusive interrogation of hope. If you like true crime, you're in the right place because this is a must-see video that includes confessions. This young woman being questioned for passing someone away when her and her friends decided to do an all-night-long crime spree, including robbery. All of her friends were arrested, and all of the details that you need to know are included in this video. Stay tuned until the end for case updates and conclusion. Now, let's see what Hope has to say for herself.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Some water, though.
Yeah. You know what? As a matter of fact, why don't you sit here and have a seat? Sit here and have a seat. Why don't you have a seat for a few minutes, and we'll go get you some water. And, bottled water, glass of water?
Bottled water.
Okay.
Soda too, or?
Oh, yes, please.
Would you rather have water or soda or both?
Both.
All right. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get you like a ham sandwich or anything.
Nah, that's
or
fine.
a pizza.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Don't go nowhere.
Yeah. I'm really sorry y'all gotta be in here with me because I stink.
Oh, you're fine. Is the Dr. Pepper's the only thing I can find right now?
That's actually my favorite
Doug
drink.
sit next to you.
Okay. Before we get started, I want to make sure. Let's see. We received this.
Yes.
Is that from you?
Mm-hmm.
Is that your handwriting?
Yes.
Nobody forced you to write this slip?
No.
Okay. No one made you any promises to write the slip or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
That was me.
Today is the 29th of April, and it's 11:07 a.m. Obviously, we're here at the sheriff's office. And you go by Hope, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And before we started, obviously, you know that, even though you wrote the slip, this is still, you don't have the ability, you're obviously under arrest.
Right.
Something not related to this, but let's see, it was 11:07.
Yeah, I'm.
11:07.
That's the thing that really gets me because.
Is that the 28th or 29th?
Today's 29th.
Okay.
And today's 29th?
It is. I'm just
Yes.
making sure. I'm sorry.
It's HOPE.
Mm-hmm.
You want me to open that for you?
Oh no, I got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
What's your date of birth?
July 1st, 1985.
Let me see, what, 28?
Yes, sir.
How far did you go in school?
I did some college.
Okay, so 12 plus.
Mm-hmm.
Advised these before, but I'm going to advise you on them again. Just so you know that I'm Detective Schwal and this is Investigator Harold, okay?
Yes.
And that you are advised of the following rights. With those rights in mind, at this point in time, are you willing to talk to us?
Yes, sir.
Have you been threatened in any way?
No, sir.
Made any promises?
No, sir.
Okay. If you read them as many times as you need, but if after each one, if you understand them, initial, and then sign right there.
And just to be clear, just to clarify this, you did write these and request for us to come and get you and bring you over here. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
God has weighed on my heart.
And you know what? That's probably not a bad thing.
No, it's not.
Okay. All right. We'll just keep those.
Yep.
Right there. You said he was weighing on your heart?
Yeah.
What was he weighing on your heart about?
A lot of things. Well, one, Brandon took a plea deal that I've heard of that he said that he had shot somebody, and he didn't shoot nobody. He shouldn't be in prison for anything, really, other than, I guess, violation of probation. I didn't know he was on probation, but.
Okay. And when you say Brandon, who are you talking about?
Brandon.
Okay.
And before, and I'm glad Doug said that. For purposes of me, since I haven't met you before, when you say things like them or us, just use their names if you don't mind, because I might get a little lost, and I'd hate to interrupt you and have to have you explain that. So just use their names if it's okay.
All right.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But I guess the reason why I came to y'all is I wanted to speak to y'all on Friday, and that's not y'all's fault that I wasn't able to. It was sheriff, the people over there at the
jail.
jailhouse. Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
But I wanted to speak to y'all on Friday because I knew y'all were going to come and get me. I knew from day one that all the bad stuff happened with Antonio. I knew from the first day that y'all were going to come and get me. I just wanted a little time to spend with my daughter. And I think that's the reason why nobody's been telling y'all anything. Is because they wanted to have enough respect to let me spend time with my daughter. They knew y'all were coming and that I was going to be the last person coming. So they knew this day was coming. But I'm going to tell y'all the God's honest truth from the very beginning.
Okay.
The night that Antonio got killed, Rebecca was at my house. Brandon was at my house. Danny, something of that nature, was there. And Eric was at my house. Brandon had this idea that we could go and
This is a CrimeCircus presentation.
basically rob somebody for drugs. And he said, do you know of anybody, he was talking to Rebecca, he said, do you know of anybody that, we could rob for some drugs? And she goes, yeah, I know somebody. He said, well, call him. And it wasn't Antonio first. It was another guy. I have no clue who he was. Well, Brandon looked at me and said, go get your gun. And I said, my guns are not to be used to shoot anybody. I didn't tell my boyfriend what I was doing. Looked at my boyfriend and told him to shut his mouth. Because he asked me what I was doing. I said, just shut your mouth. Don't ask me any questions. I didn't want him to get in trouble. So I went into the bedroom and I got one of the guns. It was 380. It was the first one I got. And I brought it to Brandon. And I figured, because Brandon had asked me for my gun before to threaten somebody. And he didn't use it. He knew how the safety worked on it, how to keep the safety up to make sure that nobody gets shot or anything like that.
And you said it was your 380? I'm sorry.
Well, no, it's not my 380. It's my boyfriend's 380, but it was in my house.
Okay.
So I gave it to Brandon, and then he said, no, we're going to need the other one. We're going to need the other one. I was like, Brandon, I can't give you the other gun. The 380 was mine for my protection.
Mm-hmm.
The 40 cal was my boyfriend's, that he bought for his father.
And what's your boyfriend's name?
Bradley. And
was the 380 loaded?
I don't know.
Okay.
I really don't know.
Okay.
At the time, I didn't know if either one of them was loaded,
Okay.
to be honest.
Okay.
I just know that the safeties were on both of the guns. And then he said, well, you got to get the other one. He goes, we can't do this just with one. I said, Brandon, I can't do that. I said, that's, Brad's gun and my boyfriend's gun. I said, he bought that for his dad. He said, just go get it. And I said, okay. So I went inside, I got the other one. I brought it back outside. It had a gun lock on it. And he said, how do you get this off? I said, you got to have a tool to get it off, because it had 2 prongs on it. And it was a screw lock. So we got a screwdriver, and me and Brandon sat down, and we sat there and unscrewed the gun lock.
Now, let me ask you, I'm not real familiar with what you're talking about. When you say a lock...
A trigger lock.
So what is it around? Is it around the trigger itself?
Yes.
So how did you get... Explain to me how you got that off. That's interesting to me. Is it for safety purposes?
It's for safety purposes, so you don't accidentally shoot anybody. It's another safety precaution on top of the safety lock itself on the side of the gun.
Okay. So you sat there and how'd you get it off with a pair of what?
Brandon got me a little screwdriver.
Yep.
Out of the toolbox, and you just stick it in one of the holes, because there's 2 holes that you got to have to get the prongs off of it, and you stick the little screwdriver in it, and you just twirl it.
I understand.
Lefty loosey, righty tighty, turn it left.
Smart.
And so we did it that way. That's how we got it off. And then Brandon took that gun and he handed it to somebody. I don't know who he handed it to at that point. So she called this guy, not the Antonio guy.
Who's she? She who?
Rebecca.
Okay, called some guy.
Some guy.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that it was supposed to work was he was supposed to meet us at the car wash. And whenever he got to the car wash, Danny and Eric were supposed to run out of the woods, and Rebecca was supposed to walk towards the car. And I was supposed to stop Rebecca from going up to the car while the boys ran up to the car. Well, the guy came to the back of the car wash, and he didn't see nobody, so he went around to the side.
Was he walking?
No, sir. He was in a white vehicle.
What was it, a truck or a car?
It was a car.
Now, what day are we talking about?
The same night that Antonio got shot. I know Antonio got shot around 12:30ish. It was maybe 9 o'clock.
So was it dark?
It was dark out
Okay.
there.
Okay. And what car wash was it?
Do you know where Riverwood Apartments is?
Yep.
Okay, the car wash right next to
Okay.
Riverwood Apartments. Basically, we all hid in the woods waiting for the guy to come up there.
And who's the we all?
The Danny, Brandon, Rebecca, me, and Eric.
Okay.
Eric had the 380, and he was the one that ran up to the car whenever it went to the side because the guy didn't see anybody out there. So the guy went over to the side of the building to wait.
You talking about the side nearest to the storage facility? You know, here's Riverwood, right?
No, sir.
Here's the car wash, and here's where all the Matthews storage. When you talk about
yes,
the side,
the storage, yes, sir.
over. Okay, so
Yep.
farther away from the apartments.
Yes, sir, further
Okay.
away from the
Okay.
apartments. And he parked his car over there. Now, I didn't get to see, but Eric had told me what he had done. And what Eric did was he went up to, he had a little bandana around his face. He had gloves on and all black. And he went up to the guy. The guy had his window up. And all Eric did was tapped on the window with the gun and said, roll it down, you know. And I didn't get to see him do that, but that's what he told me that he had done. The guy took off, so nobody got anything. So we all went back to the house, you know, and sat down, and they said, well, that didn't work, you know. So Brandon came up with this new idea that we were going to go rob somebody's house. So we all get into the car. My boyfriend asked me, Brad asked me, he goes, where y'all going? I said, baby, don't ask me no questions. Don't ask me any questions. And he basically told me, he started yelling at me then. He was like, I think I have a right to know whenever a bunch of hoodlums in the fucking neighborhood's in my car. And I just got in the car anyways and we pulled off.
And whose car?
Bradford's car.
Okay.
Kind of
What
car-
is that?
I'm sorry. Apologize.
That's okay. What kind of car did he have?
Monte Carlo, a green Monte Carlo, 1999.
Okay.
Who's driving? Or lay out where everybody's sitting best you can recall.
At that time, because we switched positions later.
Okay.
But at this moment, it was Eric in the driver's seat. No, I'm sorry. Brandon was driving at this time.
Okay.
Brandon was driving first, and then I was in the passenger seat. Eric, Danny, and Rebecca was in the back seat.
Who was behind you? If you can't recall, that's fine. I don't want you to.
I'm trying to. Yeah, I don't.
And that's fine. Okay.
I know later where everybody was.
Okay.
Because I was in the back seat later. It was
Okay.
much easier. So we left the house and we started going down. What's the name of that road?
Had you already? Let me ask you this. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
We hadn't got
but
to Antonio.
oh well. Okay. Well, that's what I was going to ask you because I'm a little confused. Did you call how did you get a hold of him?
Antonio?
Yeah.
Rebecca called from the house phone.
After.
right now,
After the car wash thing?
no, it took a little while after that.
They were going to a house.
Yeah, we were
The
going to a
plan-
house first.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
We're gonna.
Sorry.
What happened was that didn't work out with that drug dealer, and Rebecca kept saying, "I can't." To Brandon, I can't call K, is what they called him. We can't call K, and Brandon kept asking her why,
Okay.
why, and she would say, Rebecca would say, because I owe money.
Oh.
So Brandon came up with this other idea. We'd go and steal some stuff
Okay.
from a house. So everybody piled up in the car. Brandon was driving. I was in the passenger seat, and Rebecca, Danny, and Eric was in the back seat. And we got into the vehicle, and we drove up to where Walgreens is and took a left. Like you're going towards Walmart, and you take a left.
Yep.
And we went down that road just a little bit, went up past Burger King, and went into a parking lot where Taco Bell was.
Okay.
And we kind of sat there and was like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Well, there was a couple of us that said, let's just go home. That was me, and I think Danny said it, and Eric said it too. Okay, well, we can go home, you know. And then Brandon was like, hell no. Hell no. And granted, a lot of us had been drinking. Because Rebecca had bought like a gallon of rum, you know. And
A gallon?
one of those big old,
Gotcha.
I mean, it was a big thing of rum. And Brandon said, no, let's do this. We're out. We're going to do this. And I said, all right, well, let's go. Let's just stop fucking around, you know. And that's basically what everybody that was in the vehicle that I said, you know, Danny and everybody said, okay, let's go.
Okay.
So we went down, God, what's the name of that road? I know y'all know the name of the road that the house was on.
Well, just describe the area if you don't know the name of the road.
It's hard for me to even describe the area. It's before, if like you were to take a left from Walgreens, before you got to Burger King, you can take a right down the road. One of the roads past maybe a church or something, and you go in down all the way down that road, and you could either take a left or a right.
Okay. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yep. And if you go down, if you take a right down that road, all the way down at the end of that road, through some curves and stuff, you'll see a yellow building that, if you took a right, would take you back to Walmart.
Mm-hmm. You know where she's
I
talking
know,
about,
I
right?
know exactly what you're talking
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So we went down that road,
about. Okay.
and we took a right.
Mm-hmm.
There was, as we're going down there, I mean, it's dark, real dark down that road. And it's to the left, the house was, as we were passing it. And Brandon said, that one right there. And all the windows were up in the house. And who had the guns? I don't know who had the guns on them. I really honestly don't. But I do remember before we got out of the car, I said, the safeties are up, right? And everybody said, yeah, they're up. Everybody that was in the car said, yeah. Okay, everybody checked.
So when you say up, you mean
They're
safeties
on
were
safety.
on.
The
Okay.
safeties were on.
Because I'm not really a
Yeah.
gun guy, so you gotta help me out with that.
The safeties were up and on. So that way nobody could accidentally get shot, you know, and I made it a point to say, these guns are not to be used to shoot anybody. I made a point to say that to them. People don't listen, apparently. So we go into the house. I think it was Danny that crawled through the window first and opened up the door for everybody else to come in. Everybody went into the house. Rebecca, Danny, Eric, Brandon, and me. Everybody went into that house. Eric carried a TV out to the car. Rebecca's got a camera. Everybody kind of picked up something and took it to the car. I just don't know what everything was.
What did you take out?
This is a Crime Circus presentation.
To be honest, I didn't take anything. I helped unscrew the TV. That's whatever Eric took the TV.
Like the cable?
Yeah, the little cable on the back.
Okay.
Yep. And Danny was in the back room. I'm not for sure what everybody else was doing in the house. I just remember that Danny was in the back room because the dog was back there. And I had grabbed some cheese out of the refrigerator to give to the dog. Because, I mean, that was a vicious dog.
Did he like the cheese?
No. He didn't want no. The dog didn't want nothing.
No cheese?
No cheese, no nothing.
Maybe you should have tried with some peanut butter. And let's say dogs like peanut butter.
Yeah.
Everything likes peanut butter.
Right? Yeah.
I like peanut butter. Do you like peanut butter?
He was pretty vicious, but Danny was in the bedroom with the dog, and nobody hurt the dog. Like I said, nobody was out to hurt anybody.
Right.
But Danny was going through the drawers in the bedroom, taking the drawers out. And he was like, somebody help me. And I started taking the drawers out, you know. And he was rummaging through them as I was pulling the drawer out. There was no drugs taken from the house. We would all knew, you know, that somebody had drugs. But there was no drugs. I saw that on the piece of paper. I think the people that live in that house want some more drugs. But that's what the whole search of the house was for, was drugs. There was none in there. So the TV got put into the car. Oh, okay. Danny brought a radio out. It was one speaker radio. It didn't have two sides to it.
Brought it out of the room?
I don't know if it was out of the room or where it was. I just remember seeing him leave with it.
Okay, because you left off with you guys rummaging through the drawers.
Right, we were rummaging through the drawers.
Mm-hmm.
It gets kind of blank after that because everything kind of went fast. And I remember everybody yelling at everyone. Each one of us that was there was yelling at each other saying, let's go, let's get out of here. And that's whenever, as we're walking out the door, I saw Danny with the radio.
Okay.
I didn't know about the camera until later because Rebecca showed it to me at the house. Whenever we got back to the house, I again yelled at my boyfriend. Because here we are just packing shit into the house, you know. And he's sitting there with my daughter. Sitting there rocking her. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? I said, don't ask me any fucking questions. And that's whenever he started yelling at me again. Rebecca, or he calls me Rebecca. Mm-hmm. Everybody else calls me Hope. He's the only person that calls me Rebecca. And he goes, Rebecca, this is fucking bullshit. What the fuck are you doing? And I told him, I said, just shut up. Leave me the fuck alone. And we put everything into the bedroom temporarily. And we all went back out and sat down on the doorstep at my house. And we were talking about what we could sell, you know.
And we would be
Brandon, Rebecca, Danny, Eric, me.
Okay.
It was mainly Danny saying that he would be able to sell the TV.
So everybody that just got done with the house was there still in this group of
Yes,
folks?
sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Right.
sir. Everybody was still there. So we're sitting there thinking, you know, well, Danny pitched up and said that he would be able to sell the TV, that it would be a couple of days. That once he had it sold, that he would split it evenly with everybody.
Was it a decent TV?
Yes, sir. It's in Heather Riviera's, my next door neighbor's apartment. She doesn't know it's stolen.
Would you spell that last name for me?
I don't know if her last
Did you say
name.
Riviera?
Riviera. I'm not for sure if that's her last name, but her boyfriend's last name is Riviera.
Heather.
Heather.
So if it's next to
And Lewis.
So if it's next to your apartment.
If you come out of my door and you're facing the pond, it's all the way down to the end on the left.
In the same building though?
Same
Yes,
building?
in the same building as
I
mine.
don't know what that means.
I don't know off the top of my head.
The investigators, the detectives watched her for a couple of days at
Okay.
her house.
Okay.
So they know who she is.
Thank you.
But she doesn't know it's stolen.
Okay.
Lewis doesn't know it's stolen.
Okay.
They came over to look at it, and one of my neighbors, I don't really know his name, came over to tell me that the detectives came to look at it because they had bought a TV. I went over there and looked at it, and I said, "Oh wow, where'd you get that from?" You know, and they said that they bought it from somebody. And I knew whenever I looked at that TV, there's not very many TVs that looks like that TV.
Gotcha.
But it's a flat screen.
Okay. So Danny took care of selling the TV. That's where we left off.
Yes. Nobody got any money for it.
What the hell?
I don't know. There was some boxes that Brandon had brought into my house. Well, we sat there, me and Brandon looked through the boxes. There wasn't really anything of value in it. I left them sitting up there on the kitchen counter. And let's see. That's whenever Rebecca said, "Oh, I got a camera." And Danny was talking about the stereo. And later on, all this stuff left my apartment. And I'm going to explain why it all left my apartment.
Okay.
After we stole everything out of the house, all of us that was involved in that went back outside and sat on the doorstep.
Okay.
And no mission was accomplished for any drugs. And that's whenever Brandon pitched in again and said, "Well, what the fuck are we going to do?" Now, granted, me and Brandon had been up for days on methamphetamine. I was smoking, Brandon was shooting up. That boy was shooting up.
I understand.
And then, of course, we had been drinking, you know. And then I had done a pill earlier that night. Nobody knew about it. You don't tell other people, you know, that do drugs. Hey, I got something, you know, because then everybody's crowded around you saying, "Oh, let me have some, let me have some." So, whenever Brandon said, "Well, what are we going to do now?" And we just kind of looked at each other like, "Well, you know, I don't know." And he looked at Rebecca again and said, "Don't you have somebody else to call?" And she was like, "The only other person I know is Kay, and I can't call him. I can't call him. I owe him money." And Brennan was like, "Does it matter that you owe him money? Because we're going to be going over there, and we're going to just, you know, take it from him. So it doesn't matter if you owe him money or not." She was like, "Well, no." She was like, "I'm not going to call him." She really wasn't going to call him. I, honest to God, don't know what made her make that decision.
Mm-hmm.
I remember going back inside for a little bit. I don't know if it was because my daughter was crying, or I take care of my little girl. I may be stupid. I may do some stupid ass shit. But one thing I've never done was harm to my little girl.
Well, like I said, from whatever I understand, you're a great mom. I don't know what that's worth to you, but that's for
It
me.
means a whole lot to me.
Well, you seem to be a great mom.
It's the one thing that's making me talk right now, because I eventually want to see that little girl again. That's how much she means to me.
Well, good. That's good.
So I went back inside. I don't know what everybody was talking about at that moment. Came back outside, and Rebecca had the house phone. She had called Kay. I didn't know she was going to call him. Before I went inside, she wasn't calling him. Whenever I came back out, she was calling him. And at that time, I didn't know that that's who she was calling. She just said, "All right, let's go. It's ready." And so I hopped in the car with everybody. Dumbass fucking mistake. Out of all the stupid shit I did that night, not knowing where the hell we were going, that was the stupidest fucking mistake I've ever made. Now, I remember, here's the thing. This part really gets me. Before that happened, before she called Kay, earlier that night, whenever she said that she owed him money, that she couldn't go to him, she did say that, no, if we steal something from Kay, he's got to be killed. He's got to be killed. And I'm telling you, everybody, even Brandon, he said, "We ain't up for that." No, we can scare him, you know. Everybody said that. Nah, I'm up to doing whatever we can to get some D's. Danny said that.
What's a D?
A Dilaudid.
Oh, gotcha.
And Danny said, "I'm up for anything to get a D." He goes, "But I ain't up for killing somebody." And I mean, everyone except for Rebecca pitched in and said, yeah, we ain't up for that, you know. Well, whenever I came back out and she had just gotten off the phone, and she goes, let's go, it's ready. So we all jump in the car, you know, and I'm like, where are we going? We're going up here to meet Kay. And that's whenever I was like, I thought you owed him money. She was in the front seat. This is whenever the drivers changed.
Okay.
Eric was in the front seat driving. Rebecca was in the front seat in the passenger seat.
Okay.
I was in the middle in the back seat. Brandon was to my left, and Danny was to my right.
So Danny's behind Rebecca.
Yep, Danny's
And Brandon's behind Eric.
and
Right.
Brandon's behind Eric.
Okay, I'm with you.
Okay, so I don't know who had the guns. I mean, I honestly did not know who had the guns until Rebecca got out of the car, and
Where did you guys end up going to?
Augusta
Okay.
Road.
Where's that near? Did you pass any landmarks?
Bookworm, the old bookworm.
Right there at St. John's and Palm?
Yes, sir. St. John's and Palms, just a little bit past that. You take a left down a road, and you take another road. But we didn't go in that direction. We went down St. John's, took a left onto Palm, like you were going to go towards McDonald's or something, and then took a right, like you were going to go into McDonald's, but not all the way at the end of Palm.
Okay.
It was before you got to the end of Palm.
Right there by the Ford dealership.
Yes, sir. Yep,
Okay.
yep. Before you see the Ford dealership to your left, we took a right there.
Okay.
Went down there. There was some buildings back there because you had to take another right to go towards Augusta Road.
Okay.
We went down that way, and then we took a right onto Augusta Road. We circled around for a little bit because nobody saw him. But then you hear his car, and I've heard his car a million times. I've bought stuff off of him. You know.
Is it like it sounds like a race car kind of
Yeah.
nice pipes on it?
The nicest car, yeah.
So you could recognize the sound of his car even in the dark?
Oh, yes.
So you had no doubt it was him?
I had no doubt it was him.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't even have to look at that car. You can tell that was his
Gotcha.
car.
So even blindfolded you to know?
Yes.
Okay.
So we circled back around and we came back to Augusta Road. And I don't know which way were we facing. We came in the way where the stop sign is on Augusta Road, where you would have to take a right to go back to St. John's.
Okay.
And he pulled up away from St. John's to our left. He came through.
Okay.
So you have.
Would you mind
John's.
drawing it?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. Give me a couple pieces. I'll write better with you. I put 2 pieces of paper because it'll write a little bit better.
Okay. So we have St. John's right here.
Okay.
You have Palm.
Okay.
And then you have a road right here that goes to Augusta.
Mm-hmm.
And Augusta, there's another road right here that goes back to St. John's. There's a road right here at somewhere where here's Augusta to the left.
Okay.
Because you got St. John's.
And write Augusta real small next to Augusta, would you?
Okay.
Thanks.
This is a Crime Circus presentation.
Perfect.
Now, is this the road that curves that you came up by McDonald's from? This one?
No, it's this one.
Okay.
And there's all those buildings over here.
Right.
At the point. There's the road, and I'm telling you, I'm doing this just from this is the first time I've been back in this area.
Okay. No problem. Looks like
So,
you're doing good.
There's the road right here, and this is the road. I don't know what it was called. This is the road that he came down.
Okay.
And we were right here at the stop sign, and he was right here. He
Okay.
came down right here. He came up. He saw the vehicle, and he seen.
So are you guys-
he knew my vehicle because
You guys
I bought
are
it.
y'all nose to nose like this?
Um,
Vehicle, like
not
lights
yet.
pointing at lights?
Which way is your
Um,
vehicle facing?
Yeah, I'm facing. Yes, that's right. Because he's coming from this direction,
Yep.
and we're facing that direction.
Okay.
Yep, the head of our car is going this way.
Okay.
Okay.
And the head of his car, whenever he turned in, was going this way.
Okay. Gotcha. So you guys are facing opposite directions.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So he pulls in this direction, and he comes behind my car. He knew my vehicle because I bought from him before. So he pulls
So you
in.
knew him?
I didn't.
Kind of.
I did kind of.
Enough of a trust to where he'd sell to you again if you needed it or whatever.
Yes.
Okay.
Not by myself though. That's the thing.
Okay.
I've had people, you know, he's seen me, I've seen him, he knows what my vehicle looks like. But
Okay.
if I called him myself and said, hey, I want some stuff, he wouldn't give it to me directly.
I understand.
But he would, you know, as long as somebody was with me.
I understand.
I could go up to his vehicle and get it from him as long as somebody that he knew called him.
Oh.
Yeah,
I
he
see.
wouldn't just sell to somebody that he didn't know.
Okay.
I was just getting to know him.
Okay.
So he pulls in, and we're right at the stop sign, sitting there. And this is whenever I find out that Rebecca had the gun in her hand.
Which gun does she have?
She had 40 cal in her hand. And he pulled up, he was behind us. Whenever he came, we stayed at the stop sign, we didn't move. He pulled a little bit further behind us. Becca got out of the car and she goes, is the safety on? And I said, yeah, the safety's on. And I reached up to make sure that the safety was on, but she had already started walking. But the safety was on that. And I said, don't take the safety off. As she was walking away, I'd be damned if that bitch didn't go back there and you hear a gunshot. And I said, what the fuck? Brandon even said it. He was like, what the fuck? Everybody in the car, Eric, Danny, me, Brandon, everybody, she did that shit on purpose. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. She ran back to the car. She didn't get anything from him. She got back in the car. And
How do you know she didn't get anything from him?
she never said anything to anybody.
Okay.
I mean, you would think that she would say something. But then again, like I said, drugs can make you do stupid things, you know.
So she got back in the car.
She got back in the car and Eric took off. And I said, no. No. She goes, I shot him. I said, go back. Go back. You didn't shoot him. Go back. And I started hitting Eric. I started hitting him. I said, go back. You got to make sure he's okay. And Eric did. I wouldn't stop hitting him. So he goes back. He goes around right here. And he takes a right on the St. John's and he starts going back down. I said, no, you got to go back.
Okay.
So he goes back down this road. And he comes back up and you can see his car facing this direction.
Whose car? Kate?
Antonio's
Okay.
case.
Okay.
And he had hit something. The car was smoking. It was like he never let go of the gas pedal.
Did y'all?
It was
did y'all-
revving. It kept revving and revving and revving. And I jumped out of the car. I said, get out of my way. And I pushed Rebecca's seat up. And I jumped out of the car and I ran up to his car. And I'm looking through the window at him.
Which window?
The passenger side of the window. And I'm looking at him and he was moving. That's whenever the neighbor came out of the house. And he stopped and picked something up off the road. And he looked up at me and I looked at him. And I was like, okay, somebody's here. You know, I can go.
What house did he come out of?
One over here. He was a white guy.
Okay.
He came out and went across the street. And he stopped on the street and picked something up. And then he went across the way. And he started walking towards the car and I looked at him.
And then what?
And that's whenever I saw Rebecca behind me. I guess she had gotten out of the car. I mean, everything was going so quick and so fast. I didn't know she had gotten out of the car, but she apparently had gotten out of the car. I think she was going for something else. I went to go see if he was okay. And I jumped back in the car and I said, let's go. Let's get out of here. And I said, he's okay. He's moving. And I told Eric to back up. And he backed up. And there were some people over here in this house. They were all standing outside. And there were some black people. And so he backed up. And then he turned and went back out and came down St. John's. Back to the apartments. And
This is a CrimeCircus presentation.
everybody was asking her, why the fuck did you do that? We didn't. And I thought he was okay. because I saw him moving. I thought he was okay. And Rebecca started screaming. She was like, "Nah, he's dead." I said, "No, he's alive. He's okay. He's okay." And she goes, "No, he has to be dead. He has to be dead." I said, "No, Rebecca, he's alive. He's okay. I saw him. He was moving. Everything's going to be okay." She kept yelling, "No, he's got to be dead." Well, at the time, I'm not sitting there thinking why she's saying that, you know, but the reason why she wanted him dead is because he's a main witness. He knows she walked up to that car. She knows that she was the one that shot him. We got back to the house. I went inside, and Brandon was in front of me, walking to the bedroom. He had the .40 cal at this point. And my boyfriend was asking me, "What the fuck is going on, Rebecca?" And I just tell him, "She shot him. I didn't know she was going to shoot him."
And you're saying this to your boyfriend?
And my boyfriend was like, "Shot who?" He didn't believe me, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I say a lot of stupid stuff. You can ask him. I'm not completely all there. But I say a lot of stupid shit. So he probably, in his mind, he might have not actually believed me. Brandon went into the bedroom, started wiping his fingerprints. I know that's why he was doing it, to get his fingerprints off that gun. And he's sitting there with one of my white t-shirts, wiping it all off. And he came to me and handed me the gun. And he said, "All the fingerprints are gone off the gun." He said, "Do something with this." I didn't know what to do with that gun. I didn't know what to do. I was shell-shocked. And I have post-traumatic stress disorder. I'm telling you, that shit came out right then. I didn't know what the fuck I was going to do. I was just sitting there like, what the fuck? I handed it to Eric. I said, "I don't know what to do with this. I don't know what to do." And Eric said, "I'm going to take care of it." He left the house. Eric did. He came back maybe 20 minutes later. He said, "It's taken care of." I didn't ask him what was taken care of. I didn't ask him I didn't want to know. I did not want to know. And I sat down on the doorstep. Danny was still there. Brandon was still there. Rebecca was still there. And Eric was there. And I looked at him. I said, "I have a 4-month-old daughter.
Yeah.
She means the world to me.
Right.
And it's all screwed up." I said, "Please, whatever y'all do, don't say anything yet." I said, "Please, just..." Because I knew y'all were coming.
Mm-hmm.
I knew y'all were coming. I knew it. I said, "Please, just don't say anything right now. Let me spend some time with my daughter." And everybody promised that they wouldn't say that I was there. And they haven't. That's the thing. Like, Brandon did. I know Brandon did. Everybody else, I know. I know they didn't say nothing. I came in here today because God has weighed on my heart, and He has told me to let y'all know what happened that night. And I would never be free of myself. I've been seeing stuff, hearing stuff, and I just can't do it anymore. I see that man's face every day, sitting there looking at me. And we sat out there on the doorstep for a while, and we talked about what we were going to say, all of us. I said I was going to say that I was asleep on the couch with my little girl, that I didn't see nothing, I didn't hear nothing, I didn't see who took the guns. And I never really knew how the 380 got back in the house. I didn't even know who had the 380. To be honest.
Did anybody say later on who had the 380?
No.
Okay.
They got handed around so much between the 4 of them. In all honesty, I never had one of those guns in my hand for the rest of that night.
Sure.
It just kind of got...
And I believe that.
Handed around to everybody.
I believe that. Do you mind if I ask you some questions to clear up some questions that
Can I have a cigarette now?
Would you like to have a cigarette
Yes,
right now?
Please.
Yeah, I don't think that'll be a problem.
Not at all.
Yeah,
Not at all.
absolutely. You want to take a sip or your water?
You can bring that with you if you want.
Yeah, you can bring it, sure. Come on. I'm going to use the restroom.
Yes, sir.
I'll be out in just a second.
All right. Before we get started, since we're obviously videotaping this, any questions that I asked you while we're out there that as far as pertaining to this incident that you think of? I'm just saying this for.
Right. No, I'm not really.
Did you make any statements as far as
Nothing.
needing an attorney or wanting an attorney or anything like that?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm just asking. Let's do some housekeeping real quick.
Okay.
Obviously, we know this isn't drawn to scale,
Right.
but obviously, if I just get your signature right there saying you're the one that drew that. Okay. And I'm going to sign it too for witness purposes.
Oh, no, thank you.
Well, just in case.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I might cry a little bit.
Thank you.
Just, you know, we just went outside, smoked,
Okay,
didn't say
perfect.
anything, didn't ask for an attorney or anything like that. So
Awesome. No problem at all. No problem at all. Where's,
it's in there.
in case she wants to smoke another
It's
one.
in there.
Okay. I'm just looking out for her.
I got you. She appreciates that.
I really do appreciate it. Y'all
Well
don't
done.
even have to do that for me.
Well,
No. And you know what? Once again, I want to let you know that I'm going to let you call your boyfriend when we're done here and chat with him to get your affairs in order. Okay.
Yes, I definitely appreciate that. I know y'all don't have to do it, but no.
well, no, it's not about having to or wanting to. It's the right thing to do. I mean,
That's what today is about, doing the right thing.
well, you and I talked outside. That's the biggest thing. You have a conscience.
Yeah.
You know the difference between right and wrong, and obviously, you
That's
know,
God
that's not.
for you.
Well, and
He
that's
will
not
work
something.
wonders on people.
That's true. That's true. Well, would you mind if we go back and cover a few details leading up to
That's fine.
him
Yes.
getting shot? Because I'm a little confused and I just want to fill in some of the blanks for me.
I will try my best.
And I appreciate that. So earlier, prior to the shooting occurring, you said that you asked the folks that had the guns to ensure that they were on safe.
Yes.
And I think briefly you said you tried to reach up and check the safety on the gun that Rebecca had.
Yes.
Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. Make sure that's in there. How did you do that? Tell me. Did you say she was in the front seat?
She was in the front seat. I went to reach up through where the passenger and the driver's seat is. I came through both the seats and went to go reach up for it, and she had already taken off.
Or was she holding the gun up like this? Did she have it out?
She had it out. She was holding it like this, going, "Is the safety on?" Like this, holding the gun. And I went to reach up and I saw it, and I said, "Yeah, the safety's on."
Okay.
But before I could actually reach up and make sure for sure that it was on, she had already taken off.
Okay. Thanks for clearing that up. On the car ride over to, make sure I get this right. On the car ride over to Augusta to meet him, what was being discussed in the car? What was y'all's plan for how this was going to go down? Tell me how you planned it out.
You know, like I said, whenever I went back inside and I came back outside and they had said, you know, Rebecca had said, it's ready, let's go.
Mhm.
At that point, I really didn't know that we were going to go see Kay or Antonio.
I understand.
And we got into the car, we started driving. I remember people saying, make sure you get the stuff. I guess the drugs.
Who was saying that?
I don't want to put words in somebody's mouth because I really.
Well, just to the best of your recollection.
I think it was Danny. Make sure you get the stuff.
Okay.
'Cause he was sitting right next to me.
Okay.
Now, do you know what he was supposed to be showing up with? I know you talked about D's from the first
Right.
guy, but what was Antonio supposed to be showing up with?
The only thing I can possibly say on that one is the Waddeds, because I didn't hear her conversation on the phone with him.
And was there any discussion in the car ride from when you left the apartment to Augusta? Was there any discussion of what was supposed to be delivered? Or?
No, and the funny thing is that whenever I asked her what she was getting from him, she said drugs. She didn't specify what it was. Not to me. That was the next day after the incident had happened.
But nothing during the car ride?
I don't know.
And if you can't remember, we don't want you guessing.
No, I do remember.
Okay.
I do remember. What was it that she said? Because yes, she did tell me, because I asked. I said, "What are we going to get?" And she said that it was Coke and the Waddeds is what it was. And she even specified how much it was. That I'm not for sure, but I think it was like $300 worth of some stuff. I don't know if it was $300 worth of Dilaudid and some Coke, or if it was vice versa. You don't really want to specify. Like I didn't sit there and debate on her, or ask her, how much of which one.
I understand.
But everything happened so fast.
So on the car ride over there, what are y'all talking about?
Where to turn. Let's see. Where we're meeting them at. And
who's involved in the discussion?
Brandon, Eric, because he was driving, he had to know where to go.
Who was telling him where to go?
Brandon and Rebecca both, because they knew where it was. And Brandon knew kind of where the, most of the conversation was about where we were going and what we were doing, that I can recollect. I mean, I'm honestly telling y'all the best that I can.
I believe it. Yeah.
I remember them whenever we turned down in front of the Ford place to go down. Brandon saying the buildings are over to the right. You got to take a right to get to them.
Yeah.
That's where they're at. And Eric saying, "Oh, okay." And Rebecca saying he's going to meet us over here near Augusta. And there he is. Here he's coming.
Mm-hmm. And he goes by you.
Now, how long were you guys parked here?
Oh,
Here's-
just not. We
Here are
weren't
you
parked there.
guys.
Yeah.
How long before you heard? You described hearing it. You said very distinctive
Not
sound.
very long after we got to that stop sign right here, that he started. I mean, you can hear that car from a mile away.
Right.
So we were parked right here. We kind of sat there for maybe 2 minutes, and then we heard the car.
Are you talking about how to rob him? Are you talking about how you're going to get this done?
No. Nope. That it was more of where's he coming from? Which direction is he going to be coming from? What's he driving?
Was there any discussion about him maybe having a gun? Because you guys had guns.
Rebecca had said something earlier that night, prior to him, before she called him, whenever she was saying, I can't call him. And she had mentioned, oh, if we go to him, somebody's going to have to kill him. And that's whenever everybody was like, no, we're not up for that. We ain't up for killing nobody.
Yeah, did you ask her why do we have to kill him?
Because he knows everybody, is what she said. Because we did ask that question. We were like, why would you have to kill him? You know? And she said, because he knows everybody, he'll have a gun.
So when he passes, right,
Mm-hmm.
is Rebecca the only one that gets out of the car?
She's the only one that got out of the car, other than whenever I made them go back around so I could check on that guy.
Now, when you guys go to the car wash to get the first guy, or you go hit that lick at the house, everybody or most everybody gets out and participates. How come on this particular occasion, Rebecca was the only one to get out?
I guess because it was the vehicle. She knew him better than anybody else. No, Brandon's never gone through them. Eric, I don't think does Dilaudid's. So he wouldn't have gone to them. Danny, he does Dilaudid's, but he's never gone through them. We just didn't know him like that. She knew him, like she's been face to face with him getting stuff. She gave him her food stamp card.
But the intent, if she comes out with a gun, the intent wasn't to try and do a deal, was it? She was going to jack him.
She was going to jack him, yes.
So why not?
That was all she was supposed to do.
So when at the car wash, when that was the same plan, everybody's involved. How come that's not the case on this time?
Because nobody else can approach his car, he would have ran.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Okay.
if he would have saw, if he would have saw us getting out of the car, he would have automatically ran away. But with him knowing her and trusting her and having served her before, God knows how many times, he knew that she can walk up to his window and everything was going to be okay. You know, so that's the reason why she got out of the car and walked up there. And that's the reason why she apparently called him, because she's allowed to make that phone call, just like I've had people call, you know, for me. They're allowed to make that phone call and say, hey, meet me, because he trusts them. He knows that they're not going to call the law or do this or do that. So that's the reason why she was the one that had to do it, like get out and go to him.
And was that discussed? I'm sorry.
No.
I apologize. I mean, was that the fact that, hey, he's not going to trust anybody, he's going to bolt? Was that, whether it be Rebecca or Brandon or Danny or you, anybody else say that?
I can't verify on that because, like I said, whenever the phone call was made, there could have been a lot of stuff said at that point. Like, whenever we were in the car, there wasn't a lot going on as in saying how it was going to happen or anything like that. It was more of where we're going, where we're meeting them at, you know, and stuff like that. But it was just, she knew him. So it was an automatic assumption she's going to go up to him, you know.
Okay, so the plan at the house obviously was to rob him.
Yes.
Okay, so when you guys are talking about this robbery that you're going to do on what's his name again?
Antonio.
And what do y'all call him?
We call him Kay, but his name's Antonio.
Okay, so you guys are at the house planning to rob him, correct?
I don't know if I knew later that it was Kay and that we were robbing him.
Yeah, I'm not asking you to know that it was Kay, just that it was going to be a robbery.
Yeah, we were going to rob somebody else again.
And you just didn't know it was Kay at the time?
Right.
Okay. So, did you tell me that Rebecca says if we rob him, we're going to have to kill him?
Yeah, that was later on, before all of it happened, before she made a phone call or anything.
Okay.
And everybody was asking her, do you know somebody else? And she said Kay, but if we do that, I'd have to kill him.
Did anybody say at some point, hey, when we go to rob Kay, don't shoot him?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Brandon said it. I said it. I told her make sure safety's up.
So you said make sure when you rob him the safety's on?
I know it sounds stupid.
No, it doesn't sound stupid at all.
I know it sounds stupid,
No, it
but
does
you don't
not.
want somebody to shoot somebody. You know, if safety's on a gun, you can't pull the trigger and accidentally shoot somebody.
So you just wanted it to be an armed robbery?
Yes. That's all I wanted. But, you know, that all night long, that was everything that I said to everybody. Make sure the safety's on the guns.
How about before you guys decided to break into this house?
Safeties were on guns.
Why did you take a gun?
Scare tactic. You know, just to be, we're serious.
Explain that to me. I don't understand.
CrimeCircus presentation.
I don't know for everybody else per se, but you know, because Brandon was the one that asked for him, so I don't know exactly the reasoning of why he wanted them. But in my mind, my assumption was because of the scare tactic, you know, basically to say, look, I'm serious. You're going to give me the shit, you know.
What do you mean? Like if you broke into the house and somebody was home?
Yes. You know, we didn't want to hurt anybody, but we wanted to make sure that they didn't hurt us. You know, we weren't there. We weren't there to kill anybody, hurt anybody. We weren't going to beat anybody up. anything like that. It was just more of you pointed at them and say, we're serious,
Okay, I
and
understand.
we would get the hell out of there type
So
thing.
you're thinking, okay, if I pull a gun out and stick it to somebody's head or whatever, they're gonna know I'm serious.
Yeah.
So that was the intent
Right.
behind taking the gun.
Right. It
No.
wasn't to kill anybody or hurt anybody or anything of that. It was just to scare somebody if something was to happen. That way, we had time to get out of there. I mean, if you don't come with any weapon, they might try to beat you up.
Gotcha. I understand. So,
That's my assumption on it,
I
because
understand.
that's the way I think. I wouldn't hurt anybody, but if I was to pull a gun out, if somebody pulled a gun out on me, I'm not going to go after them.
So you were
I've been shot before with a .45 caliber.
what?
Wow.
I didn't go after.
Who shot you?
This guy that wanted me to be his girlfriend, and I refused. And
All right,
the bullet's still in my back.
When did this
What
happen?
the hell?
A couple of years ago,
Where at?
Maryland.
Wow.
Yeah, so I know exactly how it feels to be shot, and I'm going to tell you something. If I was to ever die, that's the way I would want to go. Your body goes into shock.
That's the way you would want to go?
Your body it feels like fire at first. It feels like my whole body was on fire on the right side. It just felt like it was on fire, but then I went into shock, and I didn't feel no more pain. And I thought I was going to die that night. I was sitting there, I remember looking at the lady and saying, I'm going to die, ain't I? But I didn't feel no pain. No. I felt no pain.
Holy shit.
But for some, I wouldn't ever want it to happen to anybody else.
You're obviously pretty tough.
Yeah. I think that goes
Hey,
back.
yeah,
That's some
I'm gonna
bumblebee
share-
tuna stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to share something with you right now. I'd probably cried.
You know what the funny thing is?
Fetal
The
position.
police
I'd-
officers that
yeah,
night
I'd
even
cry.
told me, the police officers told me that night, they said, you are a trooper. They said I didn't cry. They put me in the helicopter and they said that I was staring up at the helicopter lights and just sitting there grunting.
Well, look here. Whoever the guy is that shot you because you didn't want to be his girlfriend and you didn't cry, he's probably lucky that you ended up not being his girlfriend because you sound like you're probably no one to mess with, to be honest with you. You kind of scaring me right now.
No,
I feel like tearing up right
nice person.
I feel like tearing up right now.
I'm a pretty nice person.
I don't doubt that. I don't
Like
doubt that at all.
I did some fighting whenever I was younger.
Like
But
MMA?
I wish.
You want to put a couple moves on Doug here?
Street level.
I've always wanted to do that though.
What? You wanted to put some moves on Doug?
No. No,
Just
some
gotta
MMA.
Be, gotta be clear on that. I mean, I'll let you choke him a little bit, but maybe not completely unconscious.
No, I did a lot of fighting though whenever I was younger. I got out of that. I've had a lot of counseling. I'm on SSI for mental disability,
Okay.
but I haven't been on medication for a long time. And that's the state of Florida's fault. I'm gonna let that know on the recording now. The state of Florida's fault.
Duly noted.
Yeah, because they had 30 days to switch over my Medicaid for me, and they never switched it over, and it just got switched over, and I was just about to go to rehab. I was just about to go to rehab.
That's on the record.
But,
So let's get back to the point and get serious again
Okay.
here for a minute. Would it be fair to say that you're smarter than the rest of them people you're hanging out with? Because I got to tell you, just talking to you right now,
if
it
y'all
seems
think
like
I
you're
was the mastermind,
not
I
at all,
wasn't.
not at all. But I got to
I
tell you,
really
you seem
wasn't.
like you got a lot more on the ball than a few of the other ones.
It depends on what you mean as smart. Logically, I do think logically a lot, but I have to actually sit down and think logically. My mind doesn't
Which
work.
helps.
Right. My mind doesn't work like normal people's minds. And y'all can go back through all my therapies and speak to them. They will tell you I'm a very smart person. I really am. I'm intelligent. But
Well, I believe that because you're saying
100%.
before.
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're telling these meatheads to put the damn guns on safety, I mean that says a lot. That says a lot.
They were living in the moment. You were trying to think ahead and anticipate, hey, we're not here to
right.
hurt anybody. We're just here to flex our muscles, so to speak.
But
I don't think they were thinking that.
No, she was.
Yeah, I know she was, but I don't think they were.
I was giving her the kudos.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Me too. I'm giving her all the credit.
If they weren't thinking that, I don't think it's necessarily because they didn't want to think it. I think it's just maybe they don't know to think that.
Well, not just that. I think they got tunnel vision. They saw D's. They saw cocaine. That's all they were thinking about. You were thinking of.
I think outside the box. Yes, if that's what you're getting to. Yes,
Yes.
Anytime I do something, I do think outside the box. I don't narrow myself onto one thing and just go for it. I actually think about a process, but I have to have time for that process. And that whole night, I've had time for processes. Because we had breaks in between everything that had happened.
Sure.
So. Like safety. Whenever I went to go get those guns, in my mind, the first thing I'm thinking is make sure safety's on, because I didn't know if they were loaded or not. I do know that my boyfriend Brad Price usually keeps them loaded, but I didn't take the clip out and check to see if he had taken anything out of it or anything like that. I just made sure safety was on, even whenever I handed them the guns.
And who did you hand the gun to?
Brandon, because he asked for them.
Okay.
And then Brandon distributed them out to, I guess, whoever wanted them.
Did you instruct Brandon?
Yes.
Whoever else on how to do the safeties or whatever?
Oh, yeah. Brandon knows exactly how the safety works.
How?
Because prior to all this happening, whenever me and Brandon had been doing meth for days, this guy ripped Brandon off for some meth. And they actually have him, the guy that makes the meth, in jail now. He lives off of Ellis Drive.
Okay.
And that night, Brandon had asked to use the gun for a scare tactic. And I instructed him on the safeties. I said, make sure it stays on safety the whole time. And you don't want to accidentally shoot somebody. And he did. He kept it on safety all that night. We went up to Ellis Drive, and he said, I want my shit. I'm not playing with y'all. And he lifted up his shirt to show him the gun. And I'm telling you, the God's honest truth, I didn't know he was on all this felony probation stuff. He would have never touched my guns. Ever. I mean, I don't just hand guns to ignorant people. I thought he was smart enough, to know. And he was, because that night he didn't take it, out of his thing and point it at anybody or anything like that. He kept the safety on at all times. He had it inside his jeans, with his hand off the trigger. He just had it held like this and just kind of showed it to them so they could see it.
Did it have the, what was the little trigger doohickey?
No, this was the 380 that he had that night. It wasn't the 40 cal.
For Ellis?
For Ellis Drive, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So the night of the burglary, when y'all broke into the house, and then went and robbed Kay, I'm unclear on how Rebecca got the gun.
I'm unclear about that one too. I don't know who handed it to her, how she got it, because it had been handed around that night.
Well, that's weird, because how would Rebecca know how to handle the gun?
Everybody that was there that night, like I said, knows what safety is up. And how? Because whenever I handed the guns to Brandon, and everybody was standing there, I said, safety is always to be on. Safety is up.
That's what I was getting at. So you gave them like a class.
Yes.
Like a safety class on
Yep.
And I'm not being a wise ass, but kind of a safety class on how to rob.
Yes. I didn't want anybody to accidentally shoot somebody.
Well, let me ask you this. When you guys, after the car wash, and then after you hit the lick, did people turn the guns back in? In other words, you gave them out before you did the first thing?
Right.
Were they given back, or did people just keep them throughout the night?
They held them. Nobody ever handed them back until later on that night. Whenever we came back after Kay.
Okay.
And we got back to the house, Brandon Nunley went into the bedroom and took a white shirt and started wiping it off.
The 40?
The 40 cal.
What about the 380?
I don't know how it got back in my closet, but it got back in my closet.
Okay.
I don't know if Brandon put it there. Everybody came inside. So I wish I could tell y'all that. I really wish I could. I just honestly do not know how it got back in that closet.
Don't worry
about it. But
it
was there.
No, don't worry about it.
And the reason I do know that I remember telling somebody, to make sure that the 380 was back in the closet. I didn't want my boyfriend to know that the gun had been taken. Because if my boyfriend knew that the gun was taken, then he would have knew what had happened. And I had told him whenever I came into that house, you know, after she had shot him, I told him, I said, look, it was later, I had said, she shot him. She shot him. And he was like, what the fuck? You know, and he had asked if it was the 40 because he had gotten that one for his dad. And I told him, I said, I told him not to ask me no questions. Because I didn't want him to get in trouble because he didn't do anything.
And to be honest, I don't think he is in any trouble. I don't think he is in any trouble. Okay. Let me ask you, after Kay was shot and you guys came back to the house, describe for me the mood or the conversation that you guys were having? Can you tell me, because I gotta imagine it would be kind of crazy. What were you guys saying? What were you saying?
Boy, it was, after Brandon had wiped off the gun and everything and he handed it to me, I didn't know what to do with it. I handed it to Eric. I said, I don't know what to do with this. And that's whenever he left. And he came back. I didn't ask him about it. But he did say it's taken care of. I didn't ask him what was taken care of, how it was taken care of, what'd you do with it, anything. We all sat down. And that's whenever I was saying, you know, I got a little kid. When she was 4 months.
Right.
And I said, I got a 4-month-old daughter. I said, I want to spend some time with my daughter. I said, please don't say that I was there. Please don't. And they said, we're not going to. And that's whenever Eric said, I don't know what y'all are talking about. I was at home eating chicken. Rebecca was over there with me. And this is how I got all my stuff to say to y'all so I could have some time to spend with my daughter. Like, I honestly was coming to y'all. I just wanted to spend that little bit of time that I had with my daughter.
And we appreciate that. And once again, I will let you call your boyfriend, but I got another question for you. Going back to the burglary that night. We know there was some jewelry missing out of the house, okay? And we know that there was a gun missing out of the house. Hey, we would really like to get that stuff back because we don't want anything.
Right. I understand. I don't know about jewelry or a gun, to be honest. I really honestly do not. Nobody ever showed me a gun. Nobody. None of them showed me a gun.
Did they talk about it?
No.
Nobody talked about stealing a gun?
Hell no. No.
How about the jewelry?
Now that's debatable. I don't know what kind of jewelry it could have been. And I'm telling you, the people that were in that house, just from them lying about the medicine being taken, I mean, I didn't hear anybody say anything about getting allotted. Or I guarantee you they probably would have shared them, you know, if there was a whole script of them. But I saw it on the warrant paper whenever they came to search my house for that stuff. There was some boxes, I don't know if they were jewelry boxes or brown boxes, or they had a flip lid to them. It had some stuff in there, but the jewelry that was in there was just like, I got that old-timey jewelry that's like makeup jewelry. It's not really worth anything, but it's pretty to wear with, you know, like dresses or something like that. There was some coins in there.
What'd you guys do with it?
That's what I was going to tell y'all about how everything got out of my house. After we got back to the house and we sat down and we all talked about who was going to say what, you know, and that's whenever Eric was sitting there going, yeah, I don't know what y'all are talking about. Rebecca was over at my house eating some chicken. I came over here to talk to you, and then you went inside to go to bed, and I went home, and, you know, after all that, I went back inside and I said, y'all got to get all this shit out of my house. All of it. Get it out of my house. And so
I don't blame you.
Danny went and got the TV. He took it over to his house. And the stereo that had one of the speakers missing. He got that out of my house. Camera. I didn't know what happened to the camera until later. I opened up my bin where I put plastic containers in because I recycle. And whenever I opened up the bin to put a jug, empty jug into there was the camera case that was there. So somebody had put it in that jug, and I took it out and put it in the bedroom because that was what Rebecca had taken. So I put it with her stuff.
So let me fast forward to, I think it was the next day, and if I'm wrong, please stop me. And
before we go to the next thing, do you remember what Rebecca was wearing?
I think she was wearing it that night that they interrogated her and everybody, Sunday night. I think she was wearing it. It was like a camouflage sweater of some sort. I don't know. I had a bunch of camouflage sweaters in my house, but she was wearing one of them, and she was wearing one that night. Okay. So I assume that was the one that she was.
What? So she was wearing some kind of camouflage sweater when she got out with Kay?
Yeah, Brandon was wearing one too.
Do you remember what else she was wearing?
Jeans.
Okay.
And tennis shoes.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't. I'm not going to verify tennis shoes because I don't know. I know I was wearing tennis shoes.
Okay. All right. Sorry.
Oh, no problem.
I know Eric was wearing black.
What were you wearing?
I think I was wearing a black shirt or a black jacket.
Okay.
And jeans and tennis shoes.
Like a jacket like old people wear?
No.
Like him? Or like a hoodie, what the young people wear?
It's a nice little Marriott jacket. I haven't been able to find it. But it says it might be Marriott. I'm not for sure. It's Mariot.
Mary Jane?
Yeah.
Sorry.
But it was. I think it was that jacket. It might have been that jacket with black shirt.
Okay.
It didn't zip up. It doesn't have like a zipper. It does have a zipper, but the zipper don't work because it's not there.
So was she hiding the gun when she walked up to Kay? Was it in her pocket?
I didn't look out the window to see. Okay. I remember she had it in her hand whenever she got out of the car. As she was walking up to the car, I don't know because he was behind us. And to be honest, nobody looked.
How long after she got out of the car did you hear the gunshot? I mean, I know you weren't looking at your watch or anything, but...
Maybe a minute.
Okay.
Maybe a little less. But I mean, it didn't take long before you hear a pow. And everybody in the car yelled out, "What the fuck?"
Anybody turn around and look?
Yeah, we turned around and looked, but you couldn't see much.
Why's that?
The back windows are tinted, and it's real dim there. And so whenever you turn around, you can't see much. I turned, and it was just like me, I turned around to try to look, but I didn't see nothing. Like I couldn't see nothing. Okay. And that's whenever she ran, you can tell she ran, because she came up to the car like at a stop, like boom. And she jumped in, and she had said she shot him. And everybody was like, "What the fuck? What the fuck?" And then, I was like telling them that they had to turn back around. They had to turn back around. And that was because she said that she shot him. And I was like, I heard his car squeal off. I heard that. I didn't see him squeal off, but I heard it. So I figured he made it. She tried to shoot him and she didn't get it.
Did she tell you why she shot him? Why she decided to shoot him?
No, she didn't. Even not the next day. We really didn't talk much about it the next day.
Well, that's kind of a segue into what I wanted to ask you next. And I think it was the next day. And like I said earlier, if I'm mistaken, please correct me because I want to get this straight. You guys went to donate plasma.
Yes.
Tell me about the conversation and who you were having this conversation with on your way to donate plasma. And where did you go to donate plasma?
Gainesville.
Okay. Who was with you?
Just Rebecca. Brandon didn't want to go.
Okay. Who else?
My boyfriend Brad.
Can you tell me about the conversation that's happening in this car the next day going to donate plasma?
Going to donate plasma, we really didn't talk about much. It was kind of quiet. Nobody really, we just talked about, normal stuff. I think it may be because my boyfriend was in the car. Whenever we got there to donate plasma, she had been puking all day.
This is a CrimeCircus presentation.
Why?
I don't know if it was because of what she did or if maybe because we had been drinking or...
You guys were drinking that day?
No, the night before.
Okay.
But I mean, she drank more than everybody else did, that's for sure. So I didn't know if it was because she had been drinking or if because she shot somebody. and it made her sick.
I'm pretty sure that y'all talked about it a little bit. And please understand
it
that
was
your
on the,
boyfriend's
yes,
not in trouble.
it was on the way back. It
Mhm.
wasn't on the way there.
Oh, okay, okay.
No,
Well, I'm sorry.
We did talk about it.
Oh.
And I was gonna tell you about coming back.
Okay, well, please do.
On the way there, no, we really didn't talk about much. But I think whenever we did get there, she had asked me to look it up on my phone, and I did. I looked it up, and that's whenever I
Looked what up?
The shooting
Oh,
in the newspaper.
Oh, okay, article.
The article.
Oh, okay.
And that's whenever I found out that he was dead. I honestly thought he was okay.
What'd you say when you found out he was dead?
I didn't know what to say. I just looked at her and I said, he's dead. I didn't say anything else after that.
What'd
She
she
went in
say?
and gave, she didn't say nothing. She went and gave plasma. She came back out. And I told her, I said, I found another article. And it was different ones, the Placa, the Jacksonville, you know, maybe Topics or something. I can't remember. And I showed it to her and she read it and she said, good. She said, good. She goes, so nobody's going to say anything, right? I said, no, nobody's going to say anything. Nobody's going to say anything.
What's your boyfriend saying?
He was quiet. He was quiet. He didn't know what, because it was because of me. He was scared for me.
Understandable.
And he didn't know what to say. He was dumbfounded, is what he was. He was like, what the fuck did you do? Why would you even give Brandon the guns? What is wrong with you? And as we're going back, I told her, I said, they're going to come and get you, Rebecca. And she was like, why? Why? If you're not going to say anything, why are they going to come and get you? I'm not stupid. She used my landline phone, okay? It's so easy to find somebody with a landline phone. And then to top it off, she's the only one that owes them money, you know? And she sold the food stamp card. Somebody's going to say something about the food stamps. Not
you. Wait a minute. You never said anything. I don't remember you saying anything about a food stamp card.
I might have missed it.
I don't know if I've heard that before.
She had told me quite a few times that she had sold her food stamps to him.
And this is Rebecca. Okay.
Rebecca.
Okay.
Yeah, it's quite a few times. I sold my food stamps to him. That's the reason why I can't go to him, because I owe him money. And
oh, so
that's the reason why she wasn't wanting to call him at first, because she owed him money.
because she didn't give him enough food stamps?
No, apparently whenever she gave him the food stamp card, this is before I actually met her, that she had given him the food stamps, but I heard about it through her. She gave the food stamp card to him for some drugs, and before he could use the food stamp card, her aunt had canceled the card, and so he never got his money.
Oh.
And he was nice about it. He was like, look, he said, don't worry about it. You don't owe me nothing. Just don't come to me no more.
When did he tell her that?
Quite a few times. Anytime that she tried to call him to get something and he told her no. He was like, you don't owe me nothing.
What did she say to him that night on the phone to convince him to come that time?
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly do not know. I've heard from people what she said, you know, but not the people that were there. I think it's more through the investigation and everything like that, what was said. And from what I was able to put together, it was something like, she had the money that she owed him.
And she's saying this to him?
Apparently that's what she said to him.
Okay.
I can't verify for sure because like I said, I wasn't standing right there listening to what she was saying to him. But from, I don't know, who told me this? Somebody told me this. She said something about, it was them. It was the detectives, I think. Don't quote me, please don't quote me because I'm not for sure.
I understand.
It may have been the detectives that I heard it from because they were asking me about taxes. That's what it was.
About
they were asking taxes.
Okay.
The investigators, the detectives were asking me about when did I get my taxes? I said, I got my taxes before I came back to Florida. That's how I got back to Florida. After I had my daughter here in Florida, then went to go with my boyfriend, Brad, in Kentucky, and stay there for a little bit. And I used my taxes to be able to get back to Florida.
Oh.
And apparently, I think they thought that I was Rebecca at first. And so at first they thought that I was her. And they were telling me that you promised him some taxes or something like that, tax money, or and that you had the money that you owed him.
Okay. Now, did you guys discuss this in the car on your way back from on the plasma trip?
No, the thing that was mainly spoken about on the way back from plasma was for her to please not say anything about me because of my little girl.
Sure.
And I was like, please don't. I said, I won't say nothing about you. Just please don't say nothing about me. I got to spend time with my little girl.
Would you guys had to have, you had to blame it on someone.
No, I think it was more of, it kind of panned out that way.
What way?
Blaming it on somebody.
Who?
I went along with everything. Like y'all said, I'm not dumb.
No, not at all.
And Rebecca was in the investigation room next to me whenever we were being questioned.
Okay.
And she heard me coughing. I had a real bad cold. And I have asthma too. So I was coughing really bad, and she heard me coughing, and she goes, Hope, why did you tell him I did it? I said, I didn't tell him that you did it. I don't know who did it. I said, why would I tell him that? I don't know. And she started...
No, you lost me. And I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you lost me. On the car ride... I thought we were talking about the car ride back.
But then you started asking me about y'all had to have blamed it on somebody.
Oh, I thought...
Right. And so I was getting to the point of...
Did you discuss it, to clarify, did you discuss it in the car ride as far as who to blame?
Oh, no.
If you guys got approached by the sheriff's office or somebody else, hey, we're going to put it on, SpongeBob or something.
No, most of the conversation coming back from the plasma center was basically what she should say to the investigators, as in, don't say nothing. Just deny, 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 deny. And if you find your story and you stick to it, whoever you want to say did it, you say it. I said, or if you want to tell them that you made the phone call, she was like, I ain't going to tell them I made the phone call. I was like, Rebecca, they're going to know it was you. So you might as well admit to that part. And in my mind, I already knew. If they can connect her to knowing that she made the phone call, they're going to know that she did it. So I was trying to convince her to say that she did it and she made the phone call. But I knew that they would take her. I knew I wasn't a killer. I knew everybody else wasn't a killer. I knew she was a killer. I knew they had to have something to put her there. And so I was like, well, you might as well just go ahead and tell them that you did it. They're going to know that you did that part. Because you made the phone call from my phone. You talked to him on the phone. He's not just going to go someplace by himself and not say, oh, I'm just going to go here real quick. I'll be right back. He's going to say, oh, I'm going to go meet Rebecca. He's going to tell somebody. Any drug dealer is going to say, if he's going by himself, he's going to look at somebody and say, hey, I'm going to go meet somebody because they said they got my shit, Yeah. So in my mind, I've already thought this. I already know he told somebody. So I knew they were going to know that she did it, that she made the phone call. So we agreed that she was going to tell them, yeah, I made the phone call.
So you guys agreed to that on the way back?
Yep. Okay. And then we agreed that she was going to say that I was asleep on bed, that I didn't see anything or hear anything, that I was laying there, which technically later on that night I was laying next to my little girl. Because whenever everything happened, that's what I did. I laid down next to my little girl and I kissed her and told her I loved her and that I was sorry.
So, how did Brandon get wrapped up in this? How did he get blamed for it, or what? I mean, explain that to me, because I'm very confused about that part. And
everybody that was outside that night after the gun went off.
Well, when you say after the gun went off, it makes it sound like it went
whenever
off.
Rebecca shot Kay.
Okay.
And we came back to the house and everybody was sitting out trying to figure out what they were going to say. Eric had already said he was going to be eating chicken and that Rebecca had been over there. And I collected all this in my head So that way I would be, whenever the investigators came to me and started questioning me, I could say, well, Eric was at his house eating chicken with Rebecca, and then Rebecca came over. I listened to everybody's story.
Okay.
And I put it all in my head. And I made my story from that. Well, everybody knew that I was asleep on the couch.
Okay.
That's where I was supposed to be. I don't know who said it. I don't know if it was Eric or Rebecca or Danny. Give me a second. Let me. I
Take
want
your
to
time.
do a replay in my head. We were all sitting out there. Brandon wasn't there at that moment. I don't know where he had gone. I don't know if he went inside. That might have been whenever he went inside to wipe the gun off.
Okay.
In the bedroom. And everybody was sitting there getting their story together. And everybody even mentioned Brandon's going to say something. And that's whenever Rebecca said, we'll just blame it on him. We'll just blame it on him. And everybody was like, okay, yeah, but my story's this. You know, so nobody necessarily agreed with her, per se, that we were going to blame it on Brandon. It was more of, we know what our story is, and we're sticking to our story. You know, that type of attitude. And we basically looked at her and said, you find yours. You know, I instructed her a little bit the next day, coming back from the plasma center, on some things to say about me.
Like what?
Please tell him I was asleep on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I went back inside to lay down.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't going to say that she came back inside my house, that I saw her come back in my house. I wasn't giving her that opportunity.
I understand.
In my mind, I knew what to say to get her locked up, and what not to say, and what to be able to say to keep myself out of trouble, but to be able to get her locked up.
Mm-hmm.
And that was to get her to admit that she made the phone call. She didn't have to admit that she shot anybody. Just the fact of her making the phone call made her a part of it. Whenever we came into the investigation rooms, that was another way of how Brandon got involved.
This goes into the coughing or whatever.
Yes,
Okay.
it comes into the coughing part. I started coughing and she found out that I was next to her in the investigation room, and she started yelling at me. She goes, Hope, are you okay? Are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. I feel like I'm gonna have an asthma attack or something like that. And she goes, why'd you tell him I did it, Hope? Why did you tell him I did it? I said, I didn't say that you did it. I don't know who did it. Why would I say that you did it? And then she goes, they told me that you told them that. I said, I didn't tell them anything. I said, they're going to tell you that stuff. I said, and then she says, I did call them, Hope. I did call them. I said, why did you call them? It was like, we didn't even go over this in the car or anything. It's just like, you just know.
When she says, we called them.
No, she said, I called them.
Who's them?
I called him. I called him.
Him.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Pronunciation.
No.
Him.
Him being.
I called him.
Him
Not
being.
them.
K.
Yes, K.
Yep.
I called K.
Okay.
And she said, I did call him. I did call him. And I said, why did you call him? I was trying to get her to say something. And she goes, for stuff or drugs, or I can't verify exactly what she had said at that point. But she said something. And I said, why did you call him? Because I really didn't know at that point, you know, until later after we got there and all that other stuff. But she said it was for stuff, for drugs. And then she goes, Brandon left to go get it. Brandon, and then I just knew. She blamed it on Brandon. And so I picked up. I picked up on that. And so I made my story.
I understand.
Because like you said, I'm not stupid.
No.
And my mind may not work that well. Like I do stupid shit.
That doesn't mean you're not smart though.
But I just picked up from everybody's story. Is what I did. I just picked up from everybody else's story and I collected it in my head and I put it together.
Why is that making you upset?
Because I just wanted to spend some time with my little girl. Like, I was going to tell y'all, but it upsets me because the whole time, every day. It hurt. It hurt so bad. Because I didn't want anybody dead. And then I found out he had kids. And then I'm sitting there looking at my little girl, like I have the right to be out here with my little girl. And I did it. And I would look at my little girl every day. I sang to her, Jesus loves me, and twinkle, twinkle, little star, and hug her and kiss her and tell her how much I loved her. And I'd tell her, I'm so sorry, honey. Mommy's so sorry. And I would cry and hold her, and she would smile at me. And I just kept telling myself, they're going to come and get you. And I knew I was going to be the last person to go. I knew I was. And I knew that they were going to come get me. I knew that they were going to get me on a different charge. And they did. I knew they were going to find a way to charge me with something. And I knew that day was coming. And I looked at Brad and I told him, I said, baby, just don't say nothing right now. I said, because they're going to come and get me. I said, time's coming. I gave him 2 to 3 months. They did it in a month. And he told me, he goes, they haven't asked me anything. He goes, they really haven't. They haven't asked me much. He went in to go get the 40 cal. And it wasn't there.
When did he do that?
The next day, whenever they found the landline to my house.
Oh.
See, that's how I knew that she was going. You know, they had the landline. I knew that they were going to connect the landline. And then I got a gun missing out of my house. Yeah, they're going to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody else didn't think that way. Everybody was like, no. There's so many people call him from that. Look.
That's why I said earlier that I get the feeling that you're just a lot smarter than the rest of them.
I don't know. I am to a certain extent. I was stupid for even listening to Brandon whenever he said, bring me the guns. Granted, in my mind, I was saying, you know, keep safeties up,
Right.
you know, and stuff like that. I look back, I should have never handed them a gun.
Let me ask you a little bit about your background, because I don't know you. Have you been to jail before?
Yes.
For what?
Destruction of property.
Uh-huh.
Some domestic violence.
Here?
No, sir. Maryland. Well, no, I got in trouble here in Florida.
For what?
Trespassing, but it was on a guy that I was dating's house. And you can talk to him. He's a really cool dude. We still talk, even though he put me in jail. We're still friends. He wasn't a bad guy, and he'll tell you I wasn't a bad person. He just wanted to get back together with his ex-girlfriend, and so he wanted me to move out, but I couldn't. And so he called one of his police officer friends to come in and get me to leave the house, and I said, I ain't got no place to go. And he said, well, I'm going to arrest you. I said, well, I guess you're just going to have to go ahead and arrest me, because I ain't got no place to go. And he came and got me and put me in jail. That was for trespassing. I've gotten in trouble for, it was for domestic dispute or something like that here in Florida, but I didn't get convicted of that because I really didn't have a domestic
Where are you
issue.
from?
I was raised in Bostwick. I was born in Dallas, Texas. My mother and father had a lot of issues. My father wasn't all there. My mother had real bad depression, manic depressive. My father was very smart. That man was very smart.
That's where you get your smarts from.
Probably. But he wasn't all there. I guess they say that the intelligent ones are crazy. That's what they say.
Explains a lot.
It does explain a lot, Doug.
I know.
A lot.
I don't know if there's like a different type of connection that goes on.
I'm
But
here for you.
they gave me, my mother took us away from my father because he was nuts. And to try to save us, she gave us up for adoption. And I was given to an adoptive family here in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Best family I ever had. They're the ones that gave me my morals. And I thank them for it every day. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be in this room right now. Because I lived with my biological father for a little bit because my foster mom and foster dad passed away.
Sorry to hear that.
And my brother wasn't able to keep me, my foster brother. Mainly because my grandmother and my aunt on the foster family didn't want him to have custody of me right then because he had his own issues that he had to resolve. And so they found out where my biological father was, and he was right here in this prison, this jail right here.
Wow.
And I went to go visit him for the first time. First time I ever met him, he was behind jail. And that's whenever you could have face-to-face contact, but it was behind a little shield thing.
Gotcha.
And I ended up going to stay with him, and I got abused every single day.
This is a CrimeCircus presentation.
He beat the shit out of me every day. I loved him though. I loved him. He was my father. And I was in and out of foster homes and group homes and everything else living with him. And I would go back to him for a little bit. I would escape from the group homes.
Gotcha.
I went through a lot of counseling. I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, bipolar disorder, some type of personality disorder. I never believed any of it. Till this day, I still don't believe any of it. I know I'm diagnosed with it.
Sure.
I know I have issues. You know, in and out of counseling. Kentucky, I was in a lockdown mental institution as a kid for a year and something, getting treatment. I was the only kid. The therapist guy, the psychologist, looked at me and said, he even told me I was really smart because there was these little pictures that they sit down in front of you, and they say, connect it together, show me what happened first. And it was a north, south, west, east picture of a house and a shadow, and the sun shining down, and you had to put where the sun was at the time of day. He said I was the first kid that ever came in there and put that in the right order.
Well, very good.
And
very good.
so I was there for about a year and something. I got out of there. I ended up getting married to my ex-husband. We had a lot of problems. He was abusive towards me. He won't ever admit it. We ended up fighting a lot, and then I got pregnant because I was dating, but he was going to take custody of my son, and that didn't pan out. I ended up giving custody of my son. That's why I'm so adamant about my little daughter. I haven't got to see any of my kids raised because I was just in and out of mental institutions and stuff, and this was the first time I had the chance to do it right.
Well, let's take a break, okay? And let me go see if I can find a phone, because I'd like to keep my promise to you. Would you still like to call your boyfriend?
Yeah, I gotta get the credit cards to let them know.
Okay, I want you to understand, we're not going to leave you in here by yourself.
I know.
And not listen to what you have to say, okay?
That's fine.
So if it's permissible to the sheriff's office, what's going to happen is we're going to see if I can find a phone and bring it here for you, and I'm going to put it on speaker.
Okay.
I want everything to be out in the open.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
So
fine.
and that's the promise that I made to you.
I'm gonna let them know that I told you all the truth too.
That's up to you, but I just want to let you know that I can't really leave you in here by yourself. Okay? So try to relax. Here's the give us a couple minutes.
I actually have to use the restroom.
Let me see if I can find a female.
Okay.
Yeah, give us a couple minutes, and then we'll let you go to the restroom and smoke a cigarette. Okay? So just sit here and relax for a couple minutes, and we'll be back. Okay? Take a break and go off. Hi. Got the phone for you, okay? I'm actually going to let you have a little bit of privacy, but leave it on speaker.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Fair enough?
Yes, sir. I just wrote some stuff down.
Oh, okay.
It's the 3171 number. You might have to call it a couple of times if he doesn't know your number. Hey, baby.
Yeah.
Hey. I'm here with the investigators, and I have some things that I need you to get done. Do you have a pen? Do you have a pen or anything on you? Okay. What is all that noise? Oh, can you take your Bluetooth off? Sounds a little bit better. I came to talk to the investigators and I told them everything, baby. So I don't know how long I'm going to be gone. But there was some things that I wanted to tell you about so that way you can get some stuff done.
Okay.
But you know the PIN number to my card, right?
Yeah.
Okay. They put the money on there probably between the 25th and the 28th of every month. But I'm going to give you the sign-in name and the password to the netspend.com so that way you can go on there and check it and make sure that you don't overdraft it or anything, okay?
Alright.
The sign-in name is, and write that first, and then the Bradley part.
Okay.
Can you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Visitations here at this place is Tuesday through Saturday,
Alright.
7:30 to 4:30 p.m. And you gotta call this number to set up a visitation day. Whatever day you want to come visit, you have to set up that day. Are you gonna come visit me?
Yeah.
You promise? You promise?
Yeah.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, I'll be there. Alright.
And from the girls that I've talked to in the jail here, if they send me to a prison, baby, I'll be able to see you and Zoe. Like some of the prisons, they say that there can be touch contact. And I want you to bring Zoe to see me if they do, okay?
This is a Crime Circus presentation.
I will.
How is she doing?
She's doing alright.
Where
In Kentucky.
is she coming back?
Yeah, I just we were up there for a couple of weeks to get everything straightened out.
Okay, now this is what I want you to do with my card every month, okay? You gotta make sure you pull that money off every month, okay? And take 200 away and put it away, 2 to 250, and put it away. Start a trust fund for Zoe, okay?
Alright.
And put that money away for her. And then the rest of it, wherever I go to, whether it's here, don't put too much money in my account here, but it's, I think they said it's huh?
I put $50 in there.
Oh, you did? Probably hasn't hit yet. But
I put a little Sunday.
like I know you make enough money for yourself, but take 2 to 250 and put that away for Zoe. And then take probably about 250 to 300 and put it in my account each month.
Alright.
But not here, not at this place.
Yeah.
It's wherever they send me to, okay? That's where you. Now listen, baby, I'm allowed to have a Bible here if you can get me one, a new international version.
Don't you have one that my mom gave you?
Yes, you just gotta make sure you go through the Bible though and make sure there's nothing in the pages, okay?
Alright.
And they will let me have a Bible here, and they'll let me have one necklace with a medallion on it, like a cross. If you could find, it could be a cheap one, I don't care, baby, but just a necklace with a cross on it. What else did I wanted to tell you I do love you. And I'm sorry that all this happened. But you do promise that you're going to come visit me?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Okay, baby, you can do the money and drop it off here, but you ask Herb. You know Herb, right, Griffin?
Yeah.
All right. Talk to him because he'll be able to explain more how you can get in contact with me while I'm at this place and how you can write me and stuff like.
The physics to a video.
Yeah, it's all through video. But you can go online and put money in my account, my canteen account. Yeah, you don't have to come up here to do that. You can do it all online. You can write me online. You don't even have to write me like letter writing. I would prefer letter writing because I want to see your handwriting. But Herb can explain to you.
To get everything caught up.
Well, if you want to, just make sure that you put money away for Zoe, and put what you can in my account, okay, and use my money to help get yourself caught up, okay? Because I want the best for.
What about your spoon sales? Are you gonna turn those back in, aren't you?
Eventually, just keep them for Zoe right now, and you can keep them for right now for Zoe. I'll figure all that out later, and then I'll let you know about it. But for right now, put what you can.
What electric company do we have? I need to call that electric cutoff.
Go online to Google and type in the electric company in Florida, and it should. I think it's electric, and it's in both of our name. So you can call them and cancel it.
Right.
And then they should be sending you, after they take the money out for the electricity, they'll be sending you a deposit along with it. For the TV, the cable and stuff, the password is it's Xfinity.com, okay? And the sign-in name is in order, baby. You gotta talk to me on this because I haven't been able to think clearly.
I haven't been able to think clearly either.
I know, baby. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Please let Zoe know that I love her. Every day. And send me pictures of her. Send me pictures of her. I'll get to see her again. I don't know how long I'm going to be gone for. I don't know where they're going to put me. Hopefully they put me somewhere where I can get some help. Because I need to be put back on medication. But, I'll get to see her. Like, wherever they send me to, I'll be able to have visitations with her. But the bad part about it is that wherever they send me to may be, you know, like 3-4 hours away from where you live at.
Yeah.
2 to 4 hours, you know. I don't know how this all is gonna work now, but I told them everything, so I couldn't not tell them. I felt so bad for that guy. But, is there any other passwords that I need to be able to give to you? We got the electricity, Comcast, Facebook.
And the first one you gave me was for NetSpend, right?
The what? Yeah, the first one was for NetSpend. And all those passwords you got there. Oh, here. For the internet connection.
Yeah.
Okay, the password for that is, shoot. Okay, the password that could be possibly the password for NetSpend or the Facebook account, but those are all the passwords that I have.
Alright.
So one of those passwords should get you into anything and everything that, you know, like NetSpend or Facebook, Comcast. And then for the cable company, just call them up and have it canceled for that apartment, and they'll take out the amount that was owed, and it was a $280 deposit. So if the electricity was $120, subtract 200 or take $120 from 280, and that's how much you'll be getting a check for back.
Right.
If anything is sent to me that is important documents, okay, make sure you do a change of address for me, okay?
Right. Right.
And then anything that's important documents that I may get in the mail of some sort, make sure that you send them to me. So if something needs to be signed or anything like that, just send it to me.
Right.
Don't say anything to my family right now.
I'm not.
I can't face them at this moment. But I'll eventually tell them in my own time.
Okay.
And find out from Chelsea, my brothers, ask her to call Ricky. And listen, this is the stuff that I need you to get. I need Kathy's full name and her birth date so I can put her on a visitation list. I need Chelsea's full name and her birthday so I can put her on a visitation list. I need Ricky, my brother, his full name and his birth date so I can put him on a visitation list. And let Chelsea know if she wouldn't mind going to Ballswick and letting my brother know that I'm here. So
I think they did already, so they wouldn't read it in the paper.
Okay, was I in the paper?
I don't know. I haven't seen the paper, but I'm sure you were.
Yeah. But just I need all their birth dates, and then anybody else that you can think of that might want to come visit me. Just make sure you get their full names and their birthdays. I got you on the visitation list already.
So I just need to call them and make an appointment for one of those times and to go down to that video thing to visit.
Yes, baby. And I gave you the number, right?
Yeah.
Tell me that number again.
326-7184.
Yes. I love you. Okay?
Love you too.
And I really am so sorry. But I will be home eventually. And listen, baby, I don't know how long I'm going to be gone, okay? So, just do me a favor, please. Don't let Zoe call anybody else mommy. I don't care what you do, because I understand people's got to move on with their lives, and I can't expect you not to move on with yours, because I don't know how long I'm going to be here for. Just don't let her call anybody else mommy, and you let her know that I am her mommy and I did the right thing.
This is a Crime Circus presentation.
I will.
And whenever I get out, I'll come and see you guys, okay?
Alright.
Just promise me one thing. That no matter if you end up with somebody else or anything, that you promise you will continue to bring her to me so I can see her.
Yeah.
And don't ever forget about me being here.
Alright.
But I love you more than anything. I know I didn't show it a lot of times. I know I was mean to you sometimes. But I want you to know that I do love you, and I've always loved you. And that our little girl was the best gift that you ever gave to me. And I screwed it up, and I'm so sorry. That was the best gift you ever gave me. And I'm so sorry, baby. And you deserve better. You really do. And you tell your dad I'm sorry, too.
Alright.
I know you wanted to give that to him. You let everybody know that I'm sorry.
Alright.
I never wanted any of this to happen. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. Is there anything that you need to be able to tell me? Is there any questions about, is there anything that, well, whatever, if you can't think of anything now, just want to ask Herb how to write me, He'll be able to tell you how to write me. And if you have any questions about an account or passwords or anything of that nature. Are you going to stay in Florida?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And what you should do is just have Savannah and Garrett move on down. So Savannah can stay. That way Savannah can stay with Zoe. I like how Savannah takes care of her kids. She may be young, but she's a good mom. Now I wouldn't mind her watching out for Zoe, because I know she'll treat Zoe just as well as she would her own kids. Just make sure that if she comes down and she starts to take care of Zoe, baby, that you help her the best way you can, because she's young.
Yeah. I'm taking care of Zoe. Don't worry about it. She'll be well taken care of.
I know she will. I know you're a good person, baby. And I know you're going to take care of our daughter. I know you will. But, I'm going to go ahead and get off here. They let me smoke a couple of cigarettes and gave me some pop and stuff, so. And hopefully they'll let me smoke another one before I go back over there. But, I feel a whole lot better now. Now that I've actually got it off my chest, and I'm glad I got to spend the time that I did with Zoe. But please just let her know that I love her so much.
Alright. I will.
But I'm gonna go, okay?
Alright.
Just please.
I wish you'd have told them all before they met with me and made me have to tell them.
What's that?
I said I wish you'd have told them everything before because they met with me yesterday.
I tried to, baby. I tried to get there on Friday, and it wasn't the detective's fault. It was the jailhouse. Those people over there wouldn't give me a request slip to speak to anybody, but they know you didn't do anything, baby. They know that you were just trying to help me.
I know, but I mean,
I didn't have a choice. I couldn't do that. Brandon took a plea bargain, baby, and was going to say that he killed the guy. I couldn't let somebody go to freaking prison for something they didn't do. I just couldn't do it.
I'm glad it's all over.
I am too. I am too. Because my heart it feels so much better. I can't explain to you, baby. I don't understand how somebody's heart could hurt so much and not die. Because mine hurts so bad. It hurts so bad. But listen, what do you think? It'd probably be Saturdays that you would visit?
Probably that or Sunday.
They don't have Sundays.
It'll probably be Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, it's Tuesday or Saturday here, and wherever I go to, I'll make sure that I get the information for that too, but I need an address for you.
It's,
well, I don't, let me, there should be an investigator somewhere. Can any of y'all hear me? If you do, could I get a pen? I'm sure they're around here somewhere. I just gotta wait for a pen, okay?
Alright. But if you can't, then, I can,
write me and let me know? Yeah. Okay. I'm allowed to have up to 6 pictures at this place. So if you could send me some pictures of Zoe and you, maybe some pictures of you, Zoe, and me.
Alright.
And then, here it is.
There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I got a pen, baby. What's that what's that address? I probably won't be making too many more phone calls to you because I gotta be able to use the money from the canteen to get some things that I need.
Yeah. I understand.
But as long as you write me, I'm gonna get some stuff from the canteen to be able to write back to you with. And so as long as you write me, I'll be able to write you back and stuff like that. And every once in a while, if there's enough money in my canteen to make a phone call every once in a while, I'll call. But just for right now, I'd probably just write you. So that way.
I don't know how long I'm gonna have this phone. If they cut it off, I'm gonna get a Boost Mobile or something.
Listen.
And then I'll tell you the number. I'll write you, give you that number.
Okay. Listen, baby. What you should do with that phone, okay? Because you owe too much money on it, okay? So this is what you should do. Call them up. Call Sprint up and make a payment plan with them. However much you think that you can afford each month. Tell them that you want to cancel the phones and send them back, okay?
Alright.
Have them canceled, make up the payment plan, and then go to Verizon and put a deposit down. And get a Verizon phone, or go and get a Boost Mobile phone temporarily until you get all the finances straightened, okay?
Yeah.
You ain't gonna have me there taking all your money for drugs anymore, so you'll be able to get back on your feet.
I hope so.
You will, baby. You'll be able to do it. But, that's what you need to do, though. You need to call them and make sure that you, cancel the phones and send them back to them. And just start a different plan.
They're trying to call me.
Okay, I'll let you go. I love you.
Love you too.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
I'm done.
Just take this. Just hang tight, okay? And,
He said that he would probably let me smoke one more cigarette before they took me back
yeah,
over.
yeah, we'll make that happen, okay?
Okay,
Just give me
thank
just a
you.
minute,
I
okay?
appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, I've got a question for you real quick. I was thinking about something, going over the paperwork and all. Did the boxes, I guess it was costume jewelry or whatever, maybe?
I wouldn't, whenever I say costume jewelry, I wouldn't necessarily say like, it wasn't worth value of anything.
Okay.
It was just, you know, what old people wear
Yep.
to church and stuff like that. It was stuff like that.
Where are the boxes?
I have no clue. I told everybody to get everything out of my house. And they did. Danny grabbed the TV and the radio. I think Eric took the radio first and Danny ended up getting it. To be honest, I don't know, because I remember going through the boxes.
Is there like a pond or some woods or something like that near your place?
Yeah, there's a pond right in front of my house.
Did they throw them in the pond?
They could have. I don't know. I have no clue.
Are there any woods
Wait.
near your house?
Yes, there's some to the right. Like if you're standing on my porch and you're facing the pond, there you go to the left and there's some woods around the
Could they have
car
thrown them in the
wash.
woods?
They could have, yes. I mean, I don't know. They were nice boxes. Somebody might have actually wanted to keep those, you know, because they're pretty.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were like wooden boxes with a flip top.
Yeah, I remember you saying
Yeah,
that.
because I remember they were sitting on my kitchen counter, and me and Brandon were going through them. And then whenever I told everybody get all the shit out of my house, I told them all get it all out of my house.
Did they put the jewelry back in the box?
Yeah, everything went back into the box.
You didn't keep anything?
No, I wanted it all out of my house. And I wanted everything out of my house because I knew they were coming.
Okay.
I knew they were coming.
Yeah.
And so I wanted everything out of my house. And so I don't know if things got thrown in trash, if things got thrown, you know, in woods or ponds, or I do know what happened to the TV and the stereo because I was actually there whenever they were taking it out of the house, you know.
Gotcha.
That's what I was there watching was get the TV out of my closet.
Okay.
You know.
And on the subject of the TV and the stereo, did they take it out of your house? And who's the they that had the TV and the stereo?
Danny and Eric.
Did they just carry it down the street?
No.
Did they put it in the car? They
I
put it on a bike? How did they get rid of it?
I was there whenever. That's the reason why I don't know what happened to everything else.
Okay.
Because I was there helping Danny get the TV, and Danny took the TV to his house.
How?
Carried it.
How far away does he live?
Near the car wash, the building that you go through, cut through to get to the car wash.
So how long of a walk is that, you think?
Not very far. 500. No, a little bit more than 500 feet. But it's like you take one.
Just a short walk.
It's very short walk. He is very capable of carrying that TV by himself there.
And the stereo?
Stereo. Eric originally took the stereo to his house. But it ended up over at Danny's house. And the only reason why I know that is because I went over to Danny's to get it allotted one day. And I went into his house and he had said that the TV was gone, but he had the little stereo there. And he said that the speakers were really good on that stereo. And it was only, well, speaker. He said speakers, but it was only one speaker with it. And then I don't know what happened to it after that.
Okay.
I don't know if he kept it, because his grandparents came and cleared the house out. Because he got taken to jail over not going to Epic or something. I think maybe a drug thing that he was supposed to be doing. I don't know.
Okay.
But he got in trouble for that, and his grandparents came over and got most of all his valuable stuff out of there.
Oh, okay.
Eric, I don't know where he ended up going. I know he's in jail now, so I don't know if he may have taken anything. But that's very important. Something about Eric. He kept asking to borrow my car, And I said, I didn't want anybody driving without me, in the car anymore. And I said, well, I really can't let you take the car. I said, but I can go with you, and I'll sit in the car wherever you want to go.
So it's not like you just flipped him the keys?
No, I got into the vehicle with him, and we went over to a girl named Shay's. Now,
Say the name again?
Shay.
Shay.
Yeah, she acts and looks like a boy.
Okay.
But she's not. She's a girl. And Eric had told her all kinds of stuff, because she was trying to ask me what happened that night. And I was like, I don't know. I have no clue. I don't know anything. But Eric had told her, God, that poor boy, went and told her that he did everything. Yeah. And he changed the story, I'm sure, with her a couple of times. I'm not for sure, but there was a rumor going around that Eric had given her the gun to sell. And my niece is 21. She just turned 21 years old. That girl knows every rumor in Palatka. I don't know how she knows. She works at Dunkin' Donuts, first of all, okay? So,
Okay.
But
I've never been there.
But the rumor was that the gun was given to Shay. And that's what my niece had told me. She sat right in my house and said, yeah, I heard that Eric had given her the gun and she sold it.
To who?
I don't know. That's the only, you can ask my niece about that one.
What's your niece's name?
Chelsea Williams.
Okay.
So, I mean, she might be able to tell you more.
Do you know her phone number?
My boyfriend does. He's got it in
Do you know her address?
Yep.
What's her address?
Red Dodge truck, Ram Dodge truck, and a silver car. She drives the silver car. She's a real good girl. Don't be mean to her.
Oh, I'm so glad to mean to you.
No.
I'm so nice. I'm the nicest person in this building.
Scared. She was scared to death whenever all this happened, because she had touched my guns before. And
Did Shay told your niece?
No. My niece heard from somebody. I don't know. It may have been Shay. I don't know. I didn't really question too much into it. The only thing that I know that I heard from my niece was that she had heard. She didn't specify who or anything like that. She just said, I had heard that Eric had given the gun to Shay and Shay sold it.
Okay.
And she knows all those people. She knows everybody.
Who's those people?
Shay, Eric. Like, she's not like best friends with any of those people. She don't hang out with them. She just knows them. So but it's like, I know where Shay lived at, and whenever Eric went over there to her house, and he was just very adamant about wanting to go to her house. And I don't know what it was about.
And when was this in relation to after y'all shot Kay?
2 weeks, a week to 2 weeks maybe. They had the investigators had just stopped him or something and went through his backpack and searched him, and they were going to take him into custody. And then somebody called the detective on the phone while he was standing there and said, no, we already talked to him. And so they didn't arrest him. And then it was very shortly after that, like, boom, all of a sudden he had to get there. He had to go talk to her.
And why was that, you think?
I honestly don't know, but whenever my niece said that, you know, that she had heard that Eric had given it to her and she sold it, I started to think after we had went there. And the only thing that was really said that night that I heard was, tell me what happened, because I don't believe he did it. I don't believe he did it. You know, I'm like, I don't know what happened that night. I'm not going to say nothing. And she was sitting there, well, I ain't no fucking narc. I ain't no fucking... I'm sorry.
It's okay.
The vision of her... I think she was racked up on meth that night. Because she was very hyper. She was yelling at this car that kept passing by the house. Like they were there to do something. But she just kept saying over and over and over again, I'm not no narc. I'm not no narc.
Okay.
Now, as far as that, I don't know if that's true or not, you know.
Well, like I said, every little bit of information helps, so I appreciate it.
That's just what I heard from my niece.
Okay, no problem. Well, just sit in here for a little bit, relax.
Yeah.
Everything's okay?
Would anybody let me smoke?
Yeah, we're going to let you smoke a cigarette before you go back, okay?
Yeah.
I promise. No problem at all. Thank you. What's going on?
I remember something.
What do you remember?
I'm talking about incriminating myself. The boxes.
The boxes, yeah.
Yes. Like I said, everything went so quick.
Yeah.
I threw those in the pond.
Oh, you throw in the pond?
Yes. The reason why is because whenever I was getting them to get the TVs and everything out of my house, I don't know who handed me the boxes. We were outside, and I said, get these fucking things out of my house. And I slung them. And they went into the pond. They weren't thrown very far.
Can you describe where in the pond? I mean...
It didn't go past the grassy area that sticks up inside the pond. Like, there's water and stuff. Don't ask me how I forgot that I did something like that.
There's a lot going
on. I just remember yelling because I don't know if somebody wanted to keep it or what. I got pissed. I grabbed them and I said, get these fucking things out of my house.
Was there anything in the boxes?
I honestly can't tell you that. Because whenever I grabbed the box, it was closed. And I slung it.
Did you walk down to the pond and sling it?
Yeah, I was close to the pond whenever I slung it.
So how far away from your door is the pond?
The water was up pretty high then because I had recently rained or something. It was up. The water was up, so it wasn't too far. Maybe about 10 steps I could be at the face of the water. So yeah, I mean, I wasn't that far away from it. I walked towards it whenever I slung it.
So if I go down there to try to find them, I'm looking out of your door.
I walked from my door.
Front?
Let's say this is my door right here.
Uh-huh.
The pond's like right there, probably from right here a little bit past this wall. I could have walked off my doorstep and walked probably a little bit further than this.
Yeah.
And then I was standing with my door because I walked straight from my door and I just slung it.
Okay.
And so that's whenever I was going to get that fucking shit out of my house. And so you could see the top of it, one of the boxes.
Do you think anybody's pulled them out of there since then?
What do you call it? The divers? They had some divers come out to check the pond. I think that they pulled all kinds of stuff out of there, so I'm sure they would have, you couldn't have missed those. You know, they were...
Did you watch the divers in the pond?
I was there for, like, I would go inside, come out.
Well, let me ask you what you were thinking when you saw these divers in the pond. Were you like, holy shit?
No,
This is a Crime Circus presentation.
I just remembered about throwing the boxes, to be honest. That's all I've been doing in here since I've been in here, sitting here just thinking about stuff. No. I thought it was a good idea. I even told them that they should take divers out there, because I didn't know if Eric had threw the gun in the pond. Yeah, I did. I told them that I said, you know what? I told you I should have brought them out here.
Interesting.
Like I said, the whole time I wasn't trying to get away. I had a chance to do that. I could have ran. I knew what I was going to do.
We'd have probably found you. It would have taken a lot longer.
Yeah, right, you would have found it. I know. But what I'm saying is, I never had the intentions of running. I never had the intentions of not telling you eventually. I just wanted that little bit of time when my little girl was all. But now,
I understand that.
Little by little, I was sitting there telling them stuff, But yeah, I know the whole time that they were out there, I didn't sit there and say, "Oh shit." I knew they were going to do their job. And that's all they were doing was their job. That's why, if you ask any of those investigators, I tried my best not to be mean to them.
I haven't heard anybody say you've been mean or nasty or anything.
I yelled the last time they came into my house because they were going to be charging me with this other stuff. But in general, I was always cooperative, to a certain, I never told them everything fully, but cooperative as in giving them a little bit at a time.
Sure.
I did do that.
And for whatever it's worth to you, I personally have a lot of respect and admiration for you.
It's really hard.
Coming and telling me what you've told me. I really do.
I just can't.
So thank you.
I thank you for saying that. Does mean a lot to me. It really does. Especially whenever the Lord kept telling me, you got to tell him. And I wanted to speak to y'all on Friday. I'm telling you how hard of a time I had. I was so stressed out. I really was seeing stuff. My little girl was in my cell with me. I saw her. I rocked her. I thought they took her from me. That's how bad. That's why I wanted to talk to y'all so bad on Friday. And I was like, God, I got to talk to them. I got to talk to them. They will let me talk to them. They don't care when it is. They will let me talk to them. I just got to talk to somebody.
Well, it's not going to be too much longer probably until we let you go smoke a cigarette and take you back over there.
Okay.
But I want you to spend some more time in here thinking about things, and particularly the burglary that you guys did before the shooting.
I can tell you this much about, like, you asked about a gun.
I'm very curious about a gun, and this is why, Hope. Okay, I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
Look here. People don't kill people. Guns don't kill people. People kill people.
Yes.
Okay, the gun by itself, you can sit it here for the end of time, until the end of time, and it'll never just randomly kill someone. Okay,
that's very true.
So we believe that there may have been a gun taken in this burglary, and that's very, very important to us because we don't want another gun on the street.
And
you understand?
Yes.
So,
I really understand that, and I wish I could tell you.
Think about it. Think about that night for a little while.
What size was it?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
Was it little?
I want you to think about the conversations that were going on around you, because I know you're a very good listener, and I know you put things in your mind and you keep them, okay? So I want you to sit in here for a little while and think about that, okay? And see if you can remember somebody saying something about, hey, I found this gun, or I took it, or whatever. I don't want to put words in your mouth,
right.
But I want you to sit in here because I know you're a smart girl, and I know you retain things very well, okay? So sit in here, relax for a few minutes, enjoy the air conditioning.
But it was at that house.
I believe so. Okay? So just think about it, because it's important for me to get the gun and get it off the street.
The only other guns I've ever seen or heard about was Danny. But I think those were his. Now, if he got it from the house, I didn't see him take it, and I never heard him say, "Look what I got from the house." But Danny did have. He said he had a rifle or some type of shotgun, maybe, in his attic. He said that one was loaded, that it was for safety purposes. And then he had a little little tiny gun. I mean, it was really cute. But I don't know if he took it from the house.
Did he have it on him? Did he have this small tiny gun in his pocket, or how do you know he had it?
I don't know if it was the next day. Was it at the house? It was a small little, like, it was cute. I've never seen a gun that small before. It probably wouldn't really actually, I mean, if you shot somebody in the right spot at close range, yeah, it could definitely hurt somebody. Damn, did he take that gun from that house? Maybe it was like a 22.
I'd sure like to know.
It was small. It was real.
We'd sure like to get it back. Think about it like this. We want this thing back because, you know, potentially your daughter's going to be in this town.
Right.
Okay? And some thug ends up with that gun, drives by, shoots at someone, and your daughter ends up getting shot with it. That's horrible.
Yeah.
You know? It's important to us to get the gun back. Okay?
The only person that I saw with or heard of, I saw Danny with a gun, a little tiny gun.
When?
That's the problem I'm having right at the moment. I don't know if it was at night. If he said, "Look what I got,"
Was
look
it
what I found.
that night or at night?
It was at night. It was
at night.
At night. I don't know if it was that night, but it was at night. It was at nighttime.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember the light shining because I had put a new light bulb in my my light went out in my thing, and the light was shining down on it.
And you didn't ask him, "Hey, where'd you get that?"
This is a Crime Circus presentation.
He took it from there. We were standing outside my house.
He took it from where?
The house that we went and robbed.
The day that y'all shot Kay?
Yes.
Okay.
It was before, and you said y'all shot Kay, because I didn't shoot Kay.
That night that Kay got shot?
Yes.
How's that?
Yes.
Okay.
I was standing outside my house, and I think everybody was going through their prized possessions. Shit.
What do you mean by that?
Saying, because like Rebecca said at one point that night, "Oh, look, I got a camera." You know,
Oh,
Brandon
okay, I
said,
understand.
"Look, I found boxes, and I went through the boxes." You know,
So everyone's going through what they scored
yeah,
from the burglary.
yeah. And unfortunately, as retarded as this sounds, I didn't score nothing. There was not. I don't know.
Well, what the heck were you doing? I mean, you told me you were going through the drawers, but what were you doing?
There was nothing. If you would have went into that house, okay, if you would have seen that house, there was nothing really to rob. I mean,
Then
they
why
had
pick
one.
that house?
I don't know why Brandon picked that house. There was nothing in there. I'm sorry. There really was. To me, there was nothing of value in that house. Even the TV itself wasn't really worth that much money. And that was the only TV they had.
That's harsh.
Yeah, I mean, there was a room full of junk. There was just nothing there there wasn't nothing there.
So what makes you believe that Brandon took,
Danny.
that Danny took the gun?
Okay, so
From there.
I didn't know he had done it then. It was whenever we were back at the house. I don't know how we ended up outside. I remember standing there, and he goes, "Look what I found." And I was like, "Oh, that's cute." That's how I remembered cute. Because I was looking at it, and I was like, "That's so cute." And it was like a little small gun. I just kind of looked at him like, "Well, you can't do much with that," you know.
What did he say when you said that?
Oh, he goes, "I know." He goes, "But it'd be good for protection if I ever needed it." And I was like, "Well, yeah, I guess so." And then I never saw it after that. But it was a little tiny.
Where do you think he would hide that? Do you think it would be in the attic where you told me the shotgun is?
Possibly, because that's where he had said that he had a shotgun.
And where does he live again?
It was in. I was in there after he got taken out of there. I went there looking to see if he left any pills behind. He didn't. There wasn't much of anything left in that house. They pretty much cleaned that place up really good. There's not much to hide in there. There's not very many hiding places. I found his his syringes and stuff behind the refrigerator. Like you pull the refrigerator out, and I saw that behind there. The attic would be the only logical place that somebody would hide something at, because it's got so much insulation up there that you can move and pull.
What's his actual address? Do you know it off the top of your head?
No. If you were to be at my apartment complex facing the pond.
Okay, I'm facing the pond.
Yeah. If you have a pen, I can.
I don't. But I'm kind of familiar with where you're talking about.
So you're facing the pond from my apartment. And if you go left and start walking down that way, the only other apartment that's facing the pond with the doors, okay? He is the very last one, the last door down there that's nearest to the car wash.
Okay. How many rooms? One bedroom or two bedroom?
It's an efficiency apartment. So you walk into the door, and he would have had his bed right there. And then he had his TV over here.
So it's one step smaller than yours.
Yep. And then you go in, and there's like a little tiny kitchen galley area, and then the bathroom. And then you can pull down in the kitchen area the attic door.
Okay.
And then you could go up into the attic, and the attic is just all insulation.
And you think he's got the shotgun up under the insulation or something? Maybe.
I don't know. He said that's where he kept the stuff. You know, he kept the shotgun. Did
he tell you that he moved it or did anything with him?
No, he said the detectives came in there. And you can't always trust everything that people say to you.
Very true.
But he said that the gun was in there, the shotgun. And that the detective went up there and had grabbed it and said, "What do you got this for?" And he said...
Oh, so a detective actually found the shotgun?
That's what he said. That's what Danny had said.
Is Danny a convicted felon?
Yes, he is. Apparently. That's what he told me, because whenever he told me about the shotgun, that's whenever he told me he was a convicted felon. And he was like, "Man, I thought they were going to take me." Does that make sense to you? No, he even told me, he said, "Man, I thought they were going to take me to jail, because I'm a convicted felon. But they said they weren't worried about any of my shit." So no, it didn't make no sense to me.
Did he, so, do you remember him saying that he moved the gun after, I guess, the heat started getting turned up?
He never said anything else about anything. He never even told me who he sold the TV to.
Okay.
I just know it ended up in Heather's apartment.
Okay.
Because investigators came over to look at it. And I went over there to take a look.
How did you get in his apartment?
I know this sounds stupid. The door was actually unlocked. But I didn't know that the door was unlocked. So Danny's window doesn't work. His window doesn't lock. So I didn't know the door was unlocked. I opened up the window to stick my hand in there to unlock it, and I locked it. And I was like, "What?" So I unlocked it again, and then went inside. And there was a vacuum cleaner in there, a TV sitting there, his old bed.
And he was already gone?
He was already gone. He was gone.
All right. Well, thanks. Sit in here and kind of, go through some stuff, all right? And I'll be back in just a few minutes, okay? Go ahead and drink the rest of your water if you want to. If you need another water, let me know. And I'll see if I can find you one, okay? Thank you very much. I'll be back in just a few minutes, okay?
This is a Crime Circus presentation.
Danny did take that gun from me.
Hey, it's me. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
That's okay. It's okay. Okay. They're working on all that right now. We appreciate everything you told us. Okay.
But I know I'm in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I
Well,
am.
and that's the reason I came in here, was to explain everything to you. Okay. anytime someone goes to commit a felony, which you guys are going to commit robbery, and then during that felony somebody dies, that's considered felony murder, okay? And the way it works is that everybody who was involved in that is just as guilty of it, okay? Whether it's the person who pulled the trigger or whether it's just a person sitting in the car, okay? So what's going to happen today is, of course, your charges are going to change, okay? It's going to be attempted robbery and then felony murder, okay? But here's the deal. Obviously, you cooperated with us, and we appreciate that. And that's going to mean a lot to the state attorney's office. They've been here. They've been watching what you've said, okay? And you're going to get appointed an attorney, obviously, if you haven't already been, for the other charges you have. And if you want to continue to cooperate and go down this road, then I'm sure your attorney would be more than happy to discuss with you, how plea agreements work and plea bargains and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure there can be some kind of resolution at some point, okay? So just whenever your attorney comes to talk to you,
I just want to let y'all know that I'm sorry. And I don't blame anybody but myself for the part that I took in it.
well, and that's the thing is everybody made that decision to get in that car, and everybody's going to own up to it. And everybody really has owned up to it, okay? So that says a lot, So,
There's one person that really hasn't owned up to it, but she will.
yeah, well, she will. You're right.
She will.
You're right. Her time's coming, okay? So, just like I said, I just want to come and explain to you what's happening and what's going on, and we're going to hang out here for a little bit because we got to get all the paperwork done and all that, okay? So obviously, by now we're monitoring what's going on. So any request you have, just yell it out. We'll be here. Okay. There's about a 10-second delay, so give us a few seconds. Okay.
The only thing I really want is a cigarette.
We're gonna do that here in just a minute.
Because I know I'm just gonna be a long time before I get another one.
Yeah, probably so. Okay. We're gonna do. I promise.
I'm not gonna be gone for life or anything like that, will I?
Listen, I can't tell you what's gonna happen. Okay. But I can tell you that as long as you're cooperative and what you are now. Okay?
I mean, I've definitely incriminated myself enough that y'all should know I'm being cooperative.
Exactly. As long as you continue to do that, and you're going to get offered a plea agreement, and it's going to be up to you to accept it or not. And I can't even begin to tell you what it's going to be. Okay, but
the only thing that I know. If maybe the state's attorney can even think about it, whatever prison they send me to or anything, if they could send me to one where I can actually get some help, one that's more apt to help me.
Like for drugs and stuff?
Drugs, mental stability,
okay.
Stuff like that. Whichever one's best at doing something like that.
What you need to do is, I'm sure the state attorney would have no problem with that whatsoever, but get your defense attorney to make sure they request that, okay, in court, and then that can certainly be discussed.
Because if and when I ever get out, I at least want to be
sure
normal.
you do, right?
Yeah.
I get you.
So I won't go and do something stupid like this again.
Yep. It was a hell of a night, and it ended very badly.
Very badly.
Unfortunately, all you guys are wrapped up in it. Can't take it back,
Sure can't.
Can't take it back. So.
And that's why I don't have any hard feelings about what's going to happen to me, because like I said, I sat there and thought about him and his kids. What right do I have?
Absolutely.
And I don't have it.
Absolutely. I mean, and just like I've told his, his parents, his family, we all know what he did. We all know he was dealt in drugs. That's no secret, okay? But it still doesn't give anyone the right to take his life.
No, it never gave anybody the right. You're absolutely right.
Okay, so, and I know that y'all all could not control what she did outside that car, but, bottom line is you all did go there to commit a robbery. And
we knew we were going to rob them.
You knew that, you knew guns were involved. You knew she had a gun when she got out of the car. You hoped and prayed that nothing would happen, but you couldn't guarantee it.
Right.
So.
Yeah, just whenever they have a chance, I would really like a cigarette.
Yeah, we're going to do that here in just a second, okay? I promise you. I promise you. I'm not gonna, after all this, I'm not gonna send you back over there without a cigarette. I promise you, okay? All right, we'll be back in just a minute.
Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you're subscribed, leave a comment down below, and check out our Patreon to help support the show. Hope did a plea deal and was sentenced to 50 years in prison. She'll be released when she's 80 if she lives that long. Her friends all receive between 10 and 50 years. See you again soon.